Good evening, adventurers, and welcome to today's episode of Goodberry Cafe, which is the little warm cafe where everyone is welcome to come in and pull up a chair. Today, we're serving up a cup of inspiration, so I hope you'll come in and stay a while. And uh, my name's Jem. Sorry, I am checking because normally at this point we will find out if you can't hear me, because that seems to be a recurring thing with us on this channel. But my name is Jem, and I'll be your host. We are playing the day before Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day, and welcome to another episode of the cafe. Here at Goodberry Cafe on the second Monday of the month, I invite some guests to join me to try out some new, weird, unique, creative indie tabletop role-playing games. So I want this space to be a warm, safe, inviting space where my guests and I feel comfortable to stumble our way through learning some new games that we'll all try out together. And we'll try to help introduce you to new ways to play role-playing games as well. So tonight we are playing part 2 of a game called Mage Against the Machine by Jordan Palmer. You can find it on itch.io. I'll have our mods link the game in the chat. Oh, yeah, we just linked the game in the chat. So um, today we'll be jumping into our last 5 memories and the conclusion of our playthrough of this game. So Mage Against the Machine is an indie game where we play as time-traveling wizards trying to stop the robot apocalypse. We travel back to the moments in our lives that we have the most connection to in hopes of finding the events that set in motion the destruction of civilization. But meddling with reality, like any time traveling media, comes with a cost. So each time we use our magic to alter the world, we generate anomalies, which may change our present. If you want to catch up to what we did last episode and watch part 1, you can catch it on our YouTube channel. I'll try and talk through some of the rules as we play, and we'll discuss a little bit about trying to understand the rules as we play. But as guests here, remember that we are all learning this together, so please have patience with us. I also, considering the characters we created and the events that we created for these characters, I think it's super fitting for us to play this game the day before Valentine's Day, because without even planning it, we all somehow associated our characters with some form of love. So it's just all fitting. Our characters all have elements of love in their life. So before we jump into the game, I do want to introduce our guests in the cafe tonight. However, we are waiting. One of our guests is stuck in traffic right now. So we're going to be introducing us, but once he joins, I'll have him introduce himself as well. So to start with, let's go with Sam. Why don't you introduce yourself and your character?
Sure. Hello. My name is Sam. I am an improviser and illustrator and several other things. And my character is Octurus. I forget his last name, but he is a master probabilitist. He spent his life and career mastering the magics of manipulating, I'd call it fate, call it chance, call it raw chaos, but he's turning he's twisting the odds to meet his ends. So
And your last name was Adams, by the way. I wrote
Adam,
that down. Yeah.
just how I said. Thank you.
Jeremy, would you like to go next?
Sure. So I am Jeremy TV, Jeremy with an O TV, all across the internet. You can find me on Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, any of those places under those names. I am into voice acting, and I am also a Twitch streamer. I have my own Twitch channel where I play video games with people weekly. And I also, my day job is working in the comic book industry, and also in the gaming industry. So those are my day jobs, and I'm an avid D&D tabletop RPG player and dungeon master. And my character My character's name is Drake McLeod, and when the robot apocalypse hit, I lost my little girl Jeannie, and I'm going back in time to save my daughter. And that's it's kind of his thing. He is a war mage. Um and he failed to he was friends with Jeannie's original parents, and they were killed, and this is one of the events that led to the robot apocalypse. And yeah, and now just trying to save my little girl.
I shouldn't be laughing
I'm
at that.
I'm
Sorry.
I'm a dad, and I'm the dad character, and yeah, actually Jeannie is based off of my Twitch daughter who's in the chat right now, so hopefully we
Dang.
save her and she doesn't die.
Nick, would you like to go next?
Yes. Hello, my name is Nicholas. I am a board game and role-playing game enthusiast. I DM a little bit on the side, and I've also worked in the video game and entertainment industry for the past 7 or so years. My character is Nathaniel. He is an old and weathering lecturer trying to uncover and unravel the truths behind magic. And this robot apocalypse has thrown a nasty wrench into things. So we've got to sort that out, I think.
The end of the world is very inconvenient.
Yeah. I have research to do.
I won't have it.
All right, and I'll introduce myself. My name's Jem. Gemboree on most platforms. Gemaginative on Instagram until I can figure out how to get Gemboree on that platform. And I'm playing Shannara. Shannara is a older witch who thinks back to a simpler time without all these fancy, AI things interfering in our life. And she just wants to go back to a time where she was in love and happy and life was simple and easy. And that's not right now. So we gonna fix this. And then, so last session actually, Nick, would you like to just do a quick overview of how this game is played? To our
Sure.
understanding. Yeah.
To the best of our understanding, of course. The one small caveat. This game, we started by creating our characters and creating 2 events that were very personal in our own stories. And these 2 events are linked in some currently unknown way to the robot apocalypse. And then what we are doing is, as time traveling wizards, we are going back as a group into our past memories and interacting with them, trying to figure out how this fits into the grand scheme of things and what we can do to alter the course of history and prevent AI from taking over the world. As a slight downside, meddling with our past, we risk altering it for the worse.
This is true. Also, our companion has joined, so please give us a moment to fix screens.
Yes.
Yeah. It's gonna take us a moment to fix cameras, so thank you for your patience.
That was a really fast moment. Shout out to Joe, the cameraman.
Yes. Joe's a hero.
Although I was
me
Nick
around a
there for
little.
a second, and
Yeah, just a little wiggle.
And then once we're good to go, Louie, I know you rushed over would you be able to introduce yourself and your character, or do you need a moment?
The only thing I can't remember is my name. Did I have
Oh,
a name? I don't
yeah,
think I
you
Rigel.
ever.
were Rigel.
That's right. It's my default. Thank you for reminding me. I still have that.
Yeah, and I think we're mostly good. There's some slight adjustments with cameras happening now, but Louis, you can go ahead and introduce yourself and your character.
Hi, my name is Louis. I exist. To recap from last time, like many people here, I exist. Uh, my character's name is Rigel. In the future, he's about in his 50s, has a robot arm. Other than that, he had some fun in college with his nerdy normie boyfriend, and he has gotten up into some hijinks with these fine wizards. Oh, and that's right. He was a part of the Potion Brewers
Yeah.
Society.
Mhm.
All right.
I think that covers all the bases.
And we're just about to recap the 5 memories we entered last session.
Oh, excellent.
So I can start the recap, but cast, feel free to jump in if there's something that I missed. So our first memory we jumped into was Nathaniel's coming of age ceremony, where Nathaniel got injected with something that gave him magic. He was um, came from a poor and vulnerable family, because he's an anomaly in that, and was used as a lab rat to test this new way of awakening magic in a child who hadn't previously displayed signs of magic. Um, for this, we stepped in as time traveling mages, and uh,
What we did was we, instead of letting the lab perform their test on Nathaniel when there were all these cameras and protesters, we jumped in and awakened his magic before the test to show people that they didn't need this science to get their magic. So he became a poster child kind of for that, hopefully. We don't know until it's resolved, but
yeah.
that was our plan.
And then we jumped into our second memory on the timeline, which was a party at Rigel's wizarding school,
Mm.
where there was a blackout, and
On
the
the magical half of the world of MIT.
yeah,
Mhm.
the normies were doing some coding on their computer while the magical world was stealing some of their power. Um,
And I was pranking them by messing with the laws of physics within their vicinity, which gave them weird readings, which, who knows, messed with them in ways that I don't understand.
yeah,
And
and they
then there was
had
also drinking, and Rigel was dating one of the normal scientist kids who was working on this new code.
yeah. We tried a couple things to prevent whatever went wrong with what was happening at MIT from happening. My character pulled this cable that they were stealing power from MIT, but that didn't work. That didn't have a great reaction. It just caused the blackout to happen earlier.
Mhm.
But then we stepped in and made made some of the drinks put Rigel and his friends to sleep.
Mhm.
So
Delightful.
they wouldn't prank the MIT kids who were coding on their computer working on something really serious.
So a different type of blackout.
Yeah. Well
Um,
put. Very good.
then we jumped into my memory, Shannara's memory, where it was Shannara's first kiss. She was hanging out with her girlfriend, and the moment was right, and they kissed, and it was beautiful. But then the radio played and announced that they were going to be banning the sale of livestock. That you could, or banning the ownership of livestock, like you couldn't own chickens or cows or anything, and you couldn't raise your own livestock. So we were converting to an all artificial livestock program. Um, and
The price of eggs was going up.
the mages stepped in, and this is
Did
my
we?
favorite part.
And then the game killed the president.
It was the next
Yep,
logical step.
President.
We
Awesome.
got on
My favorite
multiple
part.
watch lists.
What was his name?
President Cowkill.
Yep.
Mhm.
Cow
So
kill.
the
Mhm.
So
mages stepped
President
in and
Cowkill.
killed President Cowkill to try to make sure that this ruling didn't pass, that we could still raise our own livestock. Ridiculous. And it worked, apparently. We don't know what the result was until the end of the game, but that worked. Then we zoom to our fourth memory, where's number 4? There.
I think it was at the lab. No.
Drake.
Oh, it's Drake.
Okay.
The day Drake adopted his daughter. His Drake was friends with and protected his daughter's original parents, and they had gotten killed by some magical means. And then he got a call and had to adopt their daughter, or was called to adopt their daughter and take care of her. And there was a lot of talk about like what happened, how did they die, who killed them, was it a cover up, blah 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 blah. Ultimately, we made it so they were killed while they were working in their lab. So we made it so that
We did it to where instead of me being across town when the killing happened, I was at a diner across the street eating a steak sandwich. And then so I was able to, instead of not being there and not having any clue as to what happened, I have a little bit better of an idea on who her parents' killers were and that whole thing. Even though there was still parts of it that were kind of a cover up. And then I adopted Jeannie, and that was like all the same kind of memory. And I was working as a mercenary for hire for them, and as a protector, and they would go to places and offer different types of healing and medical stuff using technology for people.
Did you mention how we resolved it?
So the resolution was that I was going to be closer and instead of across the street. So when the call happened, I rushed over and I was able to, well, we don't know how it finally resolves, but
well,
instead of not being
we
there.
used magic. We used magic to broadcast the security cameras and all of the data to your phone, so you have all the evidence about how they died.
Yes,
Yeah.
that.
And then our last memory that we jumped into last episode was Octavius's what is your name?
Arcturus.
Arcturus's son's baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
Where you were experimenting with probability magic to make your son good at baseball.
Yes.
Your son was terrible at baseball, and he was what, 9 years old? Yeah.
Mhm.
And you were using probability magic, to make your son better at baseball. We stepped in, we created an anomaly, or we used an anomaly to make sure there was a baseball scout at the game. And we, as mages, implanted memories of a baseball great into your son's mind. So he would hopefully be good at baseball and wouldn't become an accountant and wouldn't work for a research and developing firm.
Specifically, the memories of Wade Boggs.
Wade Boggs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So because he was a bad dad and experimented on his child to make him good at baseball, the kid ended up going into working for an accounting firm that ended up being part of the firm that helped with the apocalypse.
Mhm.
So to prevent that from happening, we made him good at baseball and gave him a baseball career, hopefully.
We
Hopefully.
experimented on his
Wanna-
son instead.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't
We
make
did
him
it, but we did it right this time.
I believe the expression was, "There's not enough magic in the world to make you a good dad, so we're gonna do this."
So good. All right. Well, that brings us to we're back in the future. Are we ready to jump into our next memory?
Sounds good to me.
All right, mages. Our next memory is yours, Rigel. The day you got your diploma, which is a master's in potion making.
Oh yeah.
So will you set the scene for the memory we are jumping into?
So like I said, it's on the magical side of MIT. So picture just MIT, but upside down. And everyone's hanging on for dear life to the planet. But for realsies though, I picture like the architecture was very much New World. It's not like I'm not picturing like a the traditional wizarding school vibe. It's very much just like yes, these are
Frank Lloyd
buildings.
Wright. Yeah,
Yeah,
Frank Lloyd
exactly.
Wright.
Thank you. And we're out on the main lawn. There's a decent. I'd say the graduating class this year for like the whole college is probably like under 1,000, but more than 500. Hard to tell. Decent size for a wizarding school, I'd say. Uh, and I'm just in the crowd waiting to get my diploma. I'm sitting with the fellow people who you know majored in potion making, which happen to be my buddies. And we're all just psyched to get out on the world and make our own name.
And what about this you think tied to the apocalypse?
Well, I can't be sure, as you know, but I have a couple suspicions. Well, since we were mirror at MIT, MIT's graduation was going on at the same time. Now, by this point, I think you were generous earlier to call that dating. What that was with God, what
Johan?
was his name? Thank you, Johan. Uh, so that had definitely fizzled out by this point. Like that was freshman year. I'd like barely any contact. I definitely got less into pranking, normies as I got more mature and learned stuff at college. Uh, though I did go over to the other side, it was more in an academic sense to be like, oh, you know, there's interesting things the humans make that I can use for my potion making. Uh, so I'd still see them around, but I didn't really want to be seen by them. And I know whatever he'd been working on with his friends freshman year had like he'd become like if he'd already been obsessed with it, it was his religion at this point. Uh, and I know he had big plans for it once he graduated.
So you're saying that you and that sweet boy broke up?
You,
Yes.
excuse me, you don't know he was sweet.
I mean, I was
He was
hoping he'd
at
help
first.
settle him straight.
Well, he definitely didn't end up straight, if that's
No,
your
I mean,
question.
I meant like because you were partying too much and should have been focusing on your schools. Set you straight.
No, 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 no. I'm a very stubborn man. I have to fail multiple times to get a message. So I learned that one myself.
Did is there a reason y'all broke up?
Because we were never dating.
They were from
Did he
different
know you were
worlds,
never dating?
sir.
I mean, we had fun. I'm trying to use all the euphemisms here to keep your innocence intact, sir, as it so clearly is.
Mm.
Were you and your friends throwing any pranks during this graduation? Did you have anything big in store lined up?
No, we didn't. Like I said, we'd kind of matured beyond that point, but the next generation, of the Potion Society, uh, we'd initiated them before they were about to become sophomores. I think, and I didn't pay much attention to freshmen at the time, but I vaguely remember they were, you know, excited about something. So it's very possible they were planning something and I just wasn't paying attention.
Mhm.
Was there ever a moment where something like went wrong during the graduation? Like why were we brought back to this point?
Good question. I'm trying to remember. Because, there's your standard stuff that would have happened
The
at
pomp
any
and
graduation. But
circumstance. Yeah.
exactly. But I'm trying to remember specifically, like, there weren't any disturbances on the other side.
Was there anybody in your graduating class that stood out?
There was one particularly annoying freshman in the Potion Society. He liked making. I'm starting to feel bad. I'm seeing some stuff now that I really should have noticed before. Well, when we left campus, I didn't leave the campus the same day. We had a decent party and stayed on campus that night. But the next morning when I left and passed through, regular MIT, I did notice that there was a lot of that the weak yellow barriers they set up sometimes. They're stretchy and they just wrap them around things.
I say caution sometimes.
I think that's what it says. Yes.
Mhm.
There was a bunch of that across like half the school.
Police line, do not cross.
Yeah.
Half of your
And
school
I,
or
I
MIT?
remember I remember regular MIT.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I picked up your affectation again. That happened last session
Sorry.
too. Oh no, it's my fault. It's my customer service voice. But anywho, I also remember there was the smoky smell, and I vaguely remember just like a smoldering, a vague smoldering of a part of the campus. I didn't go check because I just got an internship, so I had to get going. But stuff like that happened all the time at MIT. At least after that first big party, there were a lot of random things happening there that were weird.
It seems like there were a lot of crossed signals. Did the schools ever collaborate, whether knowingly or unknowingly?
Unknowingly, yes. Like I said last time, they powered many of our early parties freshman year, unknowingly. But are you talking about like intellectual collaboration, more like?
Yes, I wonder how your not boyfriend took the change of your dynamic. You said he went from obsessed to religious with his
Hmm.
project. Uh,
Yeah, that's why we stopped seeing each other. Is I'd come by, see if he wanted to have some fun, and he just never really wanted to. So I, went elsewhere.
Mm.
He
and what
became very singular-minded, whereas before, he seemed like a human being. He had needs, and though he had like a drive, he still tended to those human needs. After that, he started not taking care of himself so much.
did he know you could do magic?
Oh no, of course not. It's against the rules.
All
But
right.
I'd like to use an anomaly here and
ooh,
change your answer to
Sure.
yes, he knew.
okay, cool. That's
You
a good one.
you shared a secret with him. Uh, and you probably weren't the only one because the line between universities was maybe not as divided as a lot of people thought.
Hmm. All right, give me a second.
Do we have to roll for the anomaly?
Oh no,
No,
because we're
you can just
using it.
use it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
All right, I think I can work with this. All right, so it is my shame to say he might have found out. S- at the end of freshman year, if you'll remember I believe when was the original party? Do you remember what time of year it was? I can't remember what time I said it was. I
Was it
pictured a
the end
Halloween
of the
party.
semester?
End of the first semester. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, at the end of freshman year, so about the end of the next semester after that, I was new to potion making. We were experimenting. Who does in that time that age? Everyone experiments at that age.
Hmm.
Well, we experimented some concoctions on ourselves, and it made us far looser tongued than we had expected. And I'd already thought, oh, this stuff isn't hitting me. I'll go hang out with Johan. When it made me say some things that literally are incapable for a regular human being to say. Like, y'all know the magical language is it's literally impossible to do without some magical capability. I
Right.
won't say some here out of politeness, of course. Uh, so he kind of found out, and I explained to him that I made it as small as possible. I just mentioned there are certain students at MIT that are part of a special program. There are certain people at the MIT faculty who know who these students are, and find students who are capable of these things. If you are capable, you will be, not pursued, approached by such faculty member to join the program.
So
And I
here's
explained to
what
him it was an inherent thing. That way, he wouldn't
Mhm.
look into it too much. If he hadn't been asked, he wouldn't do a thing.
And
And
knowing
and I wasn't the dumbest guy at my school, though I may have been close my freshman year. So I'd say if I did it, someone else had to have done it.
And so you think
Mm.
introducing a curious young man to the keyhole to an entirely new world satisfied his curiosity?
When you put it like that, no. But from my point of view, I was putting up an entire door where he only had a keyhole left, so I thought I did a good job. But I see your point.
so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, you know, maybe if you and Johan were better friends than just playing hide the hot dog, um, then
Oh,
then
we're
maybe
Mhm.
then maybe you guys stayed friends afterwards, like some people do. You stayed amicable. He would have attended your graduation, and you guys had a shared secret um, that would have maybe benefited him and kept him less obsessed with his programming and more obsessed with other endeavors.
Well, I like your idea because he was a very nice boy, but for two things. One, he wouldn't be able to attend my graduation because he'd be graduating at the same time, and two, the memory I'm able to send you into is graduation. This is years later. So this is years later. So
Once
So
to
it
be
you're
gets
able
that
to
saying
reset point,
to
We
be
and
can't
able
that
to
repair that
rekindle
broken relationship.
that was years dead. So that might be difficult, but I like the idea. That might
what
be
if
nice.
what if you both ended up running into each other after graduation and reconnected? That way, when the next day's tragedy happened, instead of going to your internship, you went and checked on your good friend and former
Hmm.
better friend, I guess. Uh, when the incident happened, you would have been more concerned, and you would have gone to check on him, despite the caution tape.
Worth a shot.
So we're going to cure this with a picnic?
Um,
We need to find out what he was doing.
yeah.
I'm also quite baffled as well, given our history of previous solutions. I thought for sure the first suggestion would be to kill Johan with no regret.
I've honestly been waiting for that.
Well,
Uh,
cow kill was a different story.
yeah, he's a
Um,
politician, right?
yeah.
We think Johan was involved in the thing that happened.
I think, judging from the fact that out of all my memories, you know, the two that are able to help are ones that involve him, and this one involves him more tangentially.
Yeah.
But you know, who are we to believe in coincidence at this point?
Probability man, do we believe in coincidence?
I believe in the coincidences you make.
I'm a bit stumped on this one. Like, you want to make sure that they run into each other.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is if they both graduated at the same time on the same day, they're both heading to celebrate, and they
Well,
run into
Johann
each
might
other.
not be heading to celebrate, but yeah.
But he
Yeah,
runs
he might
in.
be on his way to cause that explosion.
He
He
might not
runs
even
in.
be at a graduation if he didn't care about the formalities.
That's a good point.
But we could have him run into our charming young fellow here, and then in that moment, there's that. You know, when you haven't seen anybody in a long time and you feel that nostalgia.
Mhm.
Maybe that nostalgia leads to, hey, I just graduated, you just graduated. Let's go get a drink for old time's sake. Let's go play hide the hot dog for old time's sake. Let's, reconnect because we're about to step into new chapters of our lives.
I think Dad Wizard is right.
Okay, but one thing I'm a little stuck on with that, I like it, but if Johann has become a religious zealot in purpose of whatever cause he was working on, he's not going to be distracted or feel that sense of nostalgia towards Rigel. I think we might have to like introduce a love potion or something.
I was gonna suggest the very same thing. Ethics aside, this is for saving the timeline, right?
Ethics have gone out the window, sir.
Everything else falls in line with my ethics. Traumatizing a child, killing a president, all fine with me. But love under fake circumstances, that's where I draw the
Oh,
line.
That's
I mean, I agree. We're definitely going to need to use some sort of magical means to rekindle this relationship. But I think if it is, it
Wait,
may.
I have an idea that might be able to help. Make this slightly more ethical for my sake. What if it's a potion that doesn't make him love me, but we have two potions? One that makes me slightly more charming, because Lord knows I needed it, especially back then. Heyo, this robot hand really helps disarm people. And two,
I
give
get
him a
it.
potion that makes him love himself. Because if he loves himself, he won't throw himself,
He'll be more devoted to
damning
his
everything
cause.
else. Exactly.
Nah, I disagree. I think if he loved himself, I think he does love himself because he's really devoted to this cause and he's doing what he feels is right. I think he already probably loves himself because he believes in what he's doing. I think we gotta give him a love potion to just make him think about you.
Let
And
me.
and the love potion will help have him come find you because he'll remember, oh, you're graduating at the same time. I gotta go find him now.
It
What
sounds
if-
like you really understand
I,
people.
I agree with
y'all
Shannara
win.
here. Yeah.
I gotta ask, Potion Man. Is there a potion of bottled nostalgia where we could just make him miss you and feel those feelings once
yeah.
again, the way
And I
that
can make
you
it.
do when you look at an old cartoon?
But Rigel can't affect the memory because we're in Rigel's memory.
But I can give you
Oh,
all the potion, right? Before you head out, equip you? Or does
ooh,
anything I touch or make
I
not?
don't think so. I don't think it'll translate.
oh.
Mm.
All right, what are our skills? We got probability man,
Our nature magic.
nature magic.
I could whip up an aphrodisiac. I just gotta use some magic to direct it in the right direction.
What about you, sir?
I could try my hand at it. It's not a specialty, but it's
I mean,
I've
I'm real good at killing. But I don't think that helps us
That's
here.
not the resort we're at right now, sir.
Um,
maybe I can skip the potions altogether and just meddle with the chemicals in his mind to get the same effect.
We could flood his brain with memories, and that creates the nostalgia combined with Missy's aphrodisiac.
I thought you were gonna say let's flood his brain with chemicals.
What is the
Uh,
last thing that he said to you?
Ooh, good question.
Oh, that's gonna be tough to remember because, like I said, we hadn't seen each other since for years. It probably wasn't. Probably first semester of sophomore year was the last time I tried to see him. When I realized, lost cause. I know when I'm not wanted. Um, what did he say? Oh yes, I remember. He said in a minute as I was telling him goodbye.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think we ghost the Christmas past this shit, and
Okay,
we make him fill him with the memories and the regret of that minute turning into years, and then we hit him with some encouragement to act upon said memories, because
Yeah,
this
like
may be his
love is
last
the
chance.
answer, not technology.
Yeah.
etc.
Hmm.
Yeah, just play a
Nathaniel, you
Beatles
wanna
song
try?
inside his brain.
Sure, I'll give a
Some mind
crack at it.
control, some mind control.
Yeah,
stuff.
just release some endorphins, some good feelings.
I don't see what he did wrong.
Of course you don't.
Back in 2 seconds. Please continue.
Okay. Well, we're gonna see. But Nathaniel, can you describe to us what exactly how we're gonna do this? We're gonna sneak over to MIT's graduation, right?
Yeah,
Find
I'm
Johan.
find Johan, and then given my studies with some of the more theoretical or scientific side of magic development, I'm going to mess with some of the chemical balances in his brain to kind of re-trigger some memories that maybe he has pushed aside in his blind devotion, and kind of resurface those, as well as bringing up these feelings of warmth and love and maybe reintroducing him to that.
What adjective are you using to describe
Nostalgia.
nostalgia? Nostalgic works.
That feels more like
Amorous.
the what adjectives have we used again? I don't remember.
Pubescent, discreet, deadly, glitchy, and athletic.
Hmm.
Amorous, maybe?
I feel like that's describing the outcome and not the process more so. I think my adjective would be precise, because this is messing with some very specific components in the brain. So it's no room for error.
Mhm.
Well, if we break his
Well,
brain,
there's room for error.
What'd you got?
After adding the +1 to it, because we used magic, I got a 2.
Oh no. So we gained an anomaly, and any
Hmm.
player says how things got worse.
His he thinks back and remembers all the good times. And what it does is it adds a fuel to the fire. He doubles his efforts. He works twice as long of nights and reaches his goal in half the time than when we
Well,
first started.
we can't change. So we're
Oh, we can't.
only changing like him at graduation.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
We have
and what he does the next
refueled
day.
his vigor.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
instead of being nostalgic, he's like, "Yeah, I remember him, and
Cool.
this is why I started working so hard because he broke my
Oh,
heart."
he's gonna do it today instead of tomorrow. I'm gonna put that as the change. He's gonna
So
whatever happens.
All right. Well,
So now there's an explosion in the middle of graduation.
plan to
Oh.
murder?
I hate to be that guy, but we should have just killed him.
Well, now it's not resolved yet.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
fuck.
That's
We're
right.
still
Now
at
we're
it.
kicking in the morality clause. Of course. Of course.
Uh,
So that brings us to our next memory, right?
no, we're not
No.
resolved until we get a 5 or 6. So,
Oh.
We have to try again.
yeah.
Oh.
But now it happens in the middle of graduation instead of the next day. The smoldering or whatever happens on the MIT side of things.
Mm.
Um,
All right.
Shall I be the one to suggest murder?
you can if you would like.
I suggest murder. I think it's for the greater good.
So you're gonna try and catch him right before he does whatever he does.
Well, I'm open to other ideas.
Well, we can.
I'm not trying to make a.
Are
Well,
we gonna try to do this physically or magically?
now the ball's in Daddy's court.
Well, now we can have the device misfire or
We
go
don't
off
even know what it
before
is.
it's intended.
I'm
if
okay
there's-
with putting the ball in the War Mage's court. It's his speciality. Or Mage, you want to try to kill Johann right after he was flooded with all these memories of our dear Rigel?
Tragic.
Well, I don't really care for killing a child, but
He's not. He's a
If-
grown man.
if I had to, what I'm thinking is after being flooded with these memories, he went to work even harder, but when you're so overwhelmed, you don't always do all the safety precautions. You don't always
Skip things.
check everything. So I think if we planted a magical bomb to trigger in the lab where he is working, it is very unlikely that he would survive.
Okay, but what if you accidentally set into motion whatever happens?
Well, the bomb would destroy any evidence of.
Why don't you just get him at graduation? Like right when graduation's over.
The problem with that is if we make it too open, then people are going to wonder why he was assassinated,
Maybe.
targeted. If we make it look like his fault, maybe he had looked into some magical things because somebody told somebody that they were magical outside of the bedroom, then I think, those notes would lead to evidence of him tampering with things he should not have been. And then the magical society would cover it up like they do.
If you think this is the way, I say go for it.
Can we destroy his project?
That's
We
the
don't know what
plan.
it is. Like we're trying, but without knowing exactly what happened, it's hard to know exactly how to destroy it. So if we just
No,
So
it sounds like you all have a good plan. This is a problem the normies created, and the normie way is to blow something up they don't understand
fireball.
because it scares them. So we got to fight
So-
this like they do.
Mhm.
I could create what is called a black hole bomb.
Mhm.
The bomb explodes in a controlled radius. Everything within that explosion is, how's the best way to put this? Deleted, and it is sucked into a black hole existence. Even the best magicians of our time cannot retrieve anything that is hit by a black hole bomb. The only issue here is at this point in time in history, the bomb itself has not been invented. But
Advanced.
it is the most efficient way I have found of destroying evidence. Not that I've ever needed to destroy evidence.
Hmm. All right, Sam, let's go. Let's try it. I feel a little uncomfortable by this, but we're beyond that point right now.
Now, that's a D6, right?
Mhm.
With +1.
Mhm.
Oh, and an adjective.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
what adjective are you using? Thank you.
Deleted it.
I don't know about that one.
Redacted.
That counts, right? Does that count?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Redacted.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
All right. Well, let's hope we don't blow up the whole school. It's a 5 + 1,
Yay.
so
Memory
6.
resolved.
Hmm.
Oh, God.
Sometimes the answer is murder.
I guess
It
we'll
seems
find
twice.
out.
That's so far. Whew.
Sorry about your friend.
Next, we have Nathaniel.
Yes.
We are entering the memory of Nathaniel in the hospital where a loved one is struggling to survive. Please describe the scene for us.
It was a dark and stormy night. My wife Felicity had been in the hospital for some time. She had an incurable disease, and she was being kept on life support. And there was an unfortunate power outage at the hospital. And when I got news of that, I rushed over there. And the hospital had a secondary system in place just as a backup, which was not human operated, but it was controlled by a computer. And this is a very bittersweet memory because while I was able to get there in time and I was able to share maybe about 20 or 30 minutes with her, the systems in place were able to keep her alive that much longer so that I could say my final goodbyes and reminisce on some final memories with her before she passed.
And why do you think we were brought to this memory?
Well, the backup system in place had never really been used before.
Oh, it's new.
Yes. And so this was a test drive.
Mm-hmm.
And I ask, did they ever find out what caused the power outage at the hospital?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Well, it was a stormy night, but yeah.
Also, and I hate to ask this, what was your wife diagnosed with?
Oof. Um, they never it didn't really necessarily have a name.
Hmm.
Is it new?
There are, yeah,
It's one of those newfangled
there are
problems
with,
we've caused. Tampering with the meat and everything.
it's with the introduction of magic and all its effects that it can have on the human body, there's a far larger range of potential problems that can come with it.
Was your wife magical?
She was, yes. She helped me with research.
Was she
Mhm.
born that way, or did she receive any sort of help?
She grew into it naturally.
Mhm.
You said this was a test run of the new system. Now,
Well,
did they consider the test a success from this incident?
uh I think so. Well, it was very accidental in that regard that it was kind of that it had to step up and be run, but
Oh
they viewed
no.
it mainly as like we put it just as it was placed as a backup that and it didn't have any kind of real life data before this.
We may have to cut the power sooner.
Why?
If they see this as a success, a, it could be a precursor implemented elsewhere as a spread of these AI systems. If we can show that the AI is not a successful solution, we can at least stave back the implementation of it throughout our society.
I get your point, but I think if you just cut the power sooner, the AI system might still come on, right? Because that's what happened is it was the power went out and the AI system came on. So
Hmm.
cutting it sooner, it might
Mm.
come on sooner, right? And then he might even miss his wife. Oh no.
Counter offer.
Trust.
I also specialize in storm magic. I could probably create enough electricity to keep the hospital going um, through whatever blackout. It would be a mighty strain on my body, but it is possible to conduct that amount of electricity. If we knew the disease, it would be easier just to cure it with one of potions. Potions. Hmm. Missy, you're pretty good with nature. Do you know of any disease that sounds similar to his wife's condition?
Nathaniel, can you describe the symptoms she was having?
Oh, uh, she grew very very weak. Did not have enough energy just to function as one needs. Um, would often be prone to collapsing or fainting,
Mm.
things of that nature.
A
So
weak
she was like
constitution, you'd say?
wasting away.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sounds like cancer. My granny died of cancer.
Cancer though. We
They
cured
they
If
cancer
it
ruled
years ago.
they ruled cancer out. That's
Yeah.
Not soon enough.
maybe a magical form of radiation poisoning.
We asked, I
What
think it's
kind of
better than
experiments
meat.
were y'all doing?
True.
well, we were doing a lot of research on just the origins of magic and how it exists, along with just the remaining physical laws of the universe, or how potentially it could exist.
Mm.
Did you did you ever have anything go wrong in your research? Was it like just studying research or like in a lab, like
It's,
working with stuff research?
I mean, things went wrong plenty of times, but it was largely on the theoretical side. So
Hmm.
there were never any maybe harmful side effects of our research, at least directly.
There were never any field experiments.
We had, failed hypotheses and assumptions that we made, but when the data was presented to us, it came out a different way. Things of that nature.
Mm.
Hmm.
No breaches of protocol, like oh, you're supposed to be protected from something, but your protection was down for a second, but nothing bad happened.
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Now, I'm going
We
to
don't
ask you
believe Flash.
something, and I'm going to remind you that I am not a cop. Um,
Your dad.
were you? I'm a dad. I'm not a cop. Were you ever exposed to what is considered primal magic? You were discussing the source of magic, and primal magic is one of the oldest forms of magic. Were you or your wife ever exposed to primal magic? And again, I am not a police officer. I know that primal magic is illegal.
I was
Were
travel.
either of you exposed?
I would have been yes. Before we were working on the same thing, I was I was a bit younger and foolish, and was dabbling in that. But she set me straight.
Probability, Dad, you were going to say something?
Hmm. Oh, I said time travel is illegal too, but here we are.
Oh, the world is.
What was her
What world
specialty?
are we living in now?
Mm.
Yeah, what was her specialty?
Oh, sorry.
Specialty?
Uh, what was it? Her specialty. You're putting me on the spot for a lot of things I didn't think about. Her
Make 'em up.
specialty was innate magic that existed in maybe the earth or in non-living objects that just exists in the universe outside of what we know tied to life.
Interesting.
And I got a
Um,
question. I got a question. So is there any chance y'all had any enemies?
Uh, no, no, I don't think we would have been turning too many heads with this research.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm.
Are you sure?
Now, this is a bit of a personal question. Um, after being exposed to primal magic, were you intimate with anybody else other than your wife?
No. And the primal magic was before I met her.
Mhm.
Hey, Dad
Um,
Wizard, question. I don't know much about primal magic. Is that the kind of thing that can have dormant side effects?
so primal magic, and the reason it's illegal, not that I know these things, is that primal magic is considered the oldest form of magic. It is raw and pure, untapped arcana and mana that tends to manifest in different streams and in physical locations within the earth. Um, the issue with primal magic is it's a version of magic that we as people had not evolved to interact with. So only primordial beings can use or interact with primal magic. The effects can
Oh.
be deadly, uh, and I don't want to be, I don't want to think in this way, but it is possible that your exposure transferred through intercourse. If you
Just to
were
clarify, because that sounds pretty hardcore. That's not the same as blood magic.
not the same as blood magic.
Okay.
Similar.
I think we're looking too deep here. I think we just gotta make sure the AI system doesn't turn on somehow.
Blow it up again? Nah, we've done that.
Then we're blowing up Nathaniel.
It'd be a good way to go.
While I like a good bomb, I was hoping to be able to cure his wife, and then, but preventing the
Sounds like it
blackout.
might be a little late.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I mean, preventing the blackout
same
might work. But for how long? Will that be tomorrow? What happens when
Well, we don't know the cause of the blackout, but
it's a storm?
Well, question: do any of you have a diamond worth about $300,000? Because if you do, I might be able to bring
$200.
something up that could theoretically let his wife die, but then immediately be revived. With her condition, free of her condition. So she'd still have to die, which is still traumatic, but
you're
you know,
talking
it
about
should still work.
revivify, which is also illegal.
There ain't no
The kind of
laws.
illegal-
But how does bringing her back solve our greater problem?
Oh, you're right, because by that point they would have already triggered the.
You said it was storming, Nathaniel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if
Yes,
we?
sir.
What if
Dark
we lean
and
into
stormy
that?
night.
Yes.
Clear the storm.
Can we overload the system?
Now, what? Strike, you said you had you had some storm magic. Could you just make it like a better day? I might be able to do that. Bring some sunlight. But you said you were specialized in storm.
Yeah, I'm specialized in bringing the storm. Not so much getting rid of a storm, because I used it in combat situations. It is possible that the storm knocked out the power and we got rid of it.
I think so.
If you think you're capable of bringing some sunlight, I could give you a potion that'll boost your powers for a very short amount of time, but you're gonna feel like crap afterwards.
Anything that and if the blackout doesn't happen, then maybe there will be more time for her to get better too, or for the world to find a cure. You never know, but I think that blackout is where things went wrong.
Yes, with
Worth a shot.
her. But saving her won't save the rest of us. Will it?
I mean, it
But
was.
preventing the blackout might prevent the AI from spreading.
Mhm. That's all I got. All right.
Right?
I am going to walk outside of the hospital and commune with my spirits of nature. And my adjective is going to be bright. And I am going to try to change the weather and bring sunlight to this area, make the storm go away.
How'd it go, Missy?
Even though I got a 2 with the +1. Sunlight did not work.
All
Or
right.
something else happened. I rolled a nat 1, so.
So instead of making the storm go away, you have made the storm worse.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Damn, we haven't even used an anomaly. Shit.
I think
Um,
rolling that one used an anomaly.
No, I didn't use one and added one.
Gave
Okay.
us
Question: You said you're good at bringing the storm. Does that mean you can take a lot of voltage?
Yeah, I can channel the electricity, and my original plan was to channel the electricity, and keep the power from going out, at the hospital at least. But it does take quite the toll on my body.
We can try that. I failed.
I might be able to help with the toll it takes on your body. I take it you get real steamy afterwards, kind of crispy, maybe.
Yeah, I have to channel the electricity through my body from the storm.
I have something I can make for you. It's gonna be a different kind of unpleasant. I'm gonna have to cover you in basically some goo that'll channel the electricity around your body as well. It's like an electric light, but way more attractive to the electricity than a normal electrolyte. Magically boosted, of course. So you're basically going to be covered in viscous magical Gatorade.
Has it got to be you that covers me in the goo?
No, it does not. And I was hoping you would ask that.
Did you learn that at one of your MIT parties?
Oh yeah, you bet your butt I did.
I know
all
your
for it.
history,
Let's go.
so yeah, I reckon if somebody covers me in goo, um, I could try channeling the electricity to keep the hospital afloat through the evening.
Let's do it.
All right, who's covering me in goo?
Got it.
Anybody but potions or probability, Dad.
I have
I
very
mean,
soft hands, I'll have you know.
I guess I've got like
I can if I'm
snail.
allowed to. I'm
Snail.
invested in this.
Here's some snail.
Well,
Good.
there's nothing in the rules that say as you can't hug someone goodbye before they go off into your memory, so this is just a big gooey hug.
All right. Let's roll for it with +1, I assume.
Wait, what's your adjective?
Oh, I don't know an adjective for this, like channeling or
Immovable,
powering,
Conductive.
radiant. Ooh,
conductive.
Conductive sounds good.
Yep.
Got a double meaning.
Yeah, let's try it.
Let's see how well I conduct myself. 2 + 1. So that's a 3.
Oh no. So with a 3, we don't add an anomaly, but any player says why the incident still isn't resolved.
I got covered in goo for nothing.
Yeah.
You redirected. Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead, please.
Oh, it seemed like we were thinking the same thing, where you were essentially a lightning rod, and you were able to redirect the lightning, but the lightning did not make its way to the hospital. So it didn't cause an outage, but it didn't prevent the outage either. It was just one of several lightning strikes that were there.
Yeah, basically what I had in mind.
Well,
what if
I'm dead.
what if we overload?
what if we blow up the
backup?
hospital?
What if we make the AI fail? Hold up.
Exactly.
So obviously the blackout's still happening. The AI is gonna kick in, but it has to fail. It has to not work so they don't keep using it, right?
It's going to cost all the lives of those at the hospital, but
Jesus Christ.
No.
unless the hospital won't have power. But all in all, it could save a lot more
afterwards if it works. Yeah, I might
if
be.
it works.
You're the probability man.
Let's make lightning strike twice.
How
Well,
you gonna do that?
I'm not putting on more goo.
if the goal is to make it look like the robot killed everyone, so they never use it again, we have to make it look like the robot went crazy and actually murdered them. So I found one of these human things. I don't know what it is, but they use it to kill each other a lot. So like,
Boy, that's a
why don't we
gun.
just get a bunch of these?
That's a gun. Mm-hmm.
The robot can't use the AI can't use it, and obviously you should not be holding it. I think if we overload the computer, we could do that. We can make it look like it's the AI's fault and that it failed. But I do like the idea of making it look like the AI tried to kill him. As we know later on, that's what AIs do.
Think probability man. I
All
think
right.
this might be in your ballpark, man.
What I'm thinking is if we can alter the course of the wind to where the detritus of things on the roof led to a chain of metal that makes its way towards the server. It can short circuit the main server of the artificial intelligence and essentially change its either its programming or at least alter its commands to go off of what it's programmed to do. Basically have it go haywire.
That seems like a good idea.
All right.
Okay.
All right, probability man, you're up.
Let's see.
Cool. What's your adjective?
Weathered? No. Need a. No, I need an adjective.
Before you do this, I want to add an anomaly.
Yeah.
And the anomaly is that this AI probably would have had system checks paperwork. And in its system checks, we change it to where they were showing signs of issues with the AI. So that way there's evidence of issues with it before this particular incident. That way they don't just assume it was a one-time thing.
Smart.
Good.
Smart. Hey.
Is short circuited? Does that work as a adjective?
Let's love it. Mm,
No.
Malfunctioning.
try it.
Haywire?
Overload.
Overloaded. I'll take it. 5 plus 1, 6.
All right, but I also am going to give us an anomaly because I think overloaded and glitchy are two similar synonyms.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Did we use glitchy?
We did use glitchy. That was
Mother trucker.
shit.
So we resolved the problem but we did gain an anomaly out of it.
So the AI fails, goes haywire, and kills a bunch of people. Is that?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We just know that.
The AI is overloaded. I think that's the extent right now.
Yep. All right. Before we jump into our next memory, I think this is a good mini stopping point to take a short break. We should be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. But thank you for tuning in so far. I can't wait to see how all of these things resolve and if we manage to stop the apocalypse or not. So thank you. Us trying to save and end the robot apocalypse. We are mages against the machine. And we are zooming into our next memory. Thanks for still being here. Our next memory is with Arcturus. It is, we're in another hospital scene. Can you set the stage?
Yes. My wife was very ill. She had developed stage 4 cancer. It made its way to several systems, and so I had elected to work with the systems at the hospital. My goal was to find a way to develop the cells in her body to fight off the cancer. I figured if I could use my magic, my probability to create an instance where her cells fit just the right shape. However, things did not go as planned. Instead of multiplying those cells, it multiplied her cancer cells and was ultimately the cause of her demise.
And why I'm gonna ask the same question I asked earlier. Why do you think that this was a pivotal moment? I mean, I'm sorry for that was so insensitive. I know it was a pivotal moment for you. But I just mean in the larger timeline of things.
Well, the systems I was working with were the actually very similar to the ones at the other hospital. It was a type of intelligence, but it worked more in developing molecular systems and biochemistry. And so it was trying to develop the biochemicals that would fight it off. I felt that if I combined its prowess with mine, we could engineer a solution. And I was wrong.
Was there somebody in charge of operating the intelligence or the machine that you were working with?
Yes. Dr. Malville, truly a genius in his craft. Yes, he was the head of the project, and we worked very closely together. Yeah, but we didn't speak much after that. Went off into the private sector or something in the government. I don't know.
What were did doctors give odds of her living before you intervened?
Of course, they said it was terminal, that there was nothing we could do, which I could not and did not accept. In a world of magic, telling someone that something can't be made no sense at all.
Now, we do know, Missy mentioned earlier that in our time there has been a cure for cancer. If we brought it back, we may be able to save her, but this doesn't deal with the artificial intelligence situation.
True. But you could bring it back.
But the project would still be ongoing. It's the same thing from our last issue. It's just if not his wife, then some other person.
What did your wife do?
She was an artist, a painter. She did landscapes, a lot of things by the sea.
Did her paintings sell at all?
No, here and there. It was mostly to calm her nerves, but yes, she was very good, even though
I'm
she
a bit
didn't
taken
believe it.
aback. I'm a bit taken aback. I wasn't expecting that from you, Octavia.
I would like to
I
add an
respect craft.
anomaly.
Yeah.
I would like to add an anomaly. I want to say that your wife was actually very successful in her painting and had lots of financial contributors to the purchase of her paintings.
She was the best at what she did.
And with that anomaly in place, I have a new question.
Yes.
The last piece that she worked on, who was she making it for?
Our son.
Let me rephrase her last commercial piece.
Oh, yes. Nothing that she was doing bedside, of course. It was for a large company. She would sometimes do bigger pieces for the entryways. Some corporation. It was more research. I mean, what company isn't in research and intelligences these days? But it was one of those ones. Cyber Ultra something.
Sounds about right.
Probability man. My question is that with the specialist who was working with the AI, were there any other doctors trying more traditional methods?
It's mostly what we tried first. We tried traditional. We tried homeopathic. We tried mystical. We tried everything. But yes, there was a team, especially with her resources. She was a successful artist. We went through every field we could.
So this was the last. This was the last resort.
Yes.
Do you think if you had multiple attempts at this, you would have been successful in one other go?
I think I was close. But maybe I'm just telling myself that.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. If we make it succeed, then the AI looks successful. If we make it look like something else succeeded before the AI had to step in, maybe a late stage potion in the form of the cure from the future, that our potions master could make look like somebody from that time had tried, and then they accidentally discovered the cure sooner than later, then the AI never would have gotten a chance to try and fail. Because it seems like whether the AI fails or succeeds, as long as it tries, it is going to affect our future and lead to the robot apocalypse. So maybe what I'm thinking is there would still be some medicine in her system, and I think we have our potions master mixing the cure from the future, because we have cured cancer. Unfortunately, not in time for your wife and not in time for my granny. But we have now a cure we could take back. But we have the potions master synthesize a cure before you go to testing and relying on this AI in a desperate measure. And even though I'm not a fan of the use of AIs, I can not fault you in this situation for doing everything that you can.
Could we perhaps, instead of disguising the cure for cancer just with his wife, maybe inspire these doctors here to come up with the cure for cancer publicly? That would perhaps save more people as well.
I mean, what I'm thinking is if Junior there puts his potions in, they'll know that it was a specific chemical composition that did it. And they'll probably research her blood, and
They'll be able to manufacture or reverse engineer the cure that way.
that's what I'm hoping, yeah. It does mess with the timeline overall because the cure for cancer is not discovered until probably about 10 years from now.
Me. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm okay with moving that up the timeline.
Junior, you good with making that happen? You think it's something within your capabilities?
If you can do
And-
this, I'll owe you everything.
It should be possible. Probable, even.
Alrighty. I think that's our first goal, and hopefully with your wife's reputation and acclaim, this will bring attention to the cure if everything works out the way we hope. All right, Junior, no pressure.
All right, hold on. Sorry, I just realized I was using my dice box as a camera stand. My apologies. All right, I rolled D6, right?
Yes.
And this is magical, so +1.
Oh wait, we need
Adjective.
an adjective. Adjective first before you read us the thing.
Hopeful.
Okay.
I have not used that one yet, right?
No, we're good on that one.
Phew.
Are we using are we counting the adjectives from the stories as well? Like when we introduced them? Okay, cool.
It's just how you use your magic, I think.
Got it.
It was a 6.
Nice.
Good job, Junior.
Memory is resolved.
Your plan,
no.
my execution. Good combo.
Right. Doo-doo-doo.
I may get to see her again.
The result. I can't wait to see how this all comes together.
So, all right, and now we're zooming to Drake's daughter's 16th birthday and the first time she called you dad. Please set the scene for us.
Yeah. Not to get more emotional, but as you know, Jeannie was not my daughter by birth. I adopted her and I knew her family. But she never called me dad or papa or any of those things that you would hope for until her 16th birthday. And I remember it. God, I remember it like it was yesterday. She looked up at me with those big eyes and just so happy and so proud, and she called me. She said, "Thanks, Dad." And I've regretted every moment, probably since, looking back. As you guys know, my daughter was not magically inclined. Her family did not come from magic, but goddamn was Jeannie smart. She was much better with adjectives than I am. And she, yeah, so she didn't really care too much for magical things, and my magic is really only good for killing. So I really got into supporting her and her education with technology, and she wanted a robot. They were all the rage with all the kids. You got a robot companion. These were the first line of butlers and assistances, and the My Buddy robots that came out, and they were popular. There was that horror movie based off of them, but the robots, that's what she wanted. That's what she asked me for, and I didn't think she was old enough. And for her 16th birthday, I got her a robot, and she named that robot Yahir. And years later, when the robot apocalypse happened, I learned that it was Yahir who killed my daughter. And I have blamed myself since.
No, I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
What This robot, what was it, and I guess its assembly line initially advertised as? What was the selling point of it?
The My Buddy robots were made to be assistants and butlers, and they would help with chores and cleaning, but also with god damn near everything. I had the robot hold a flashlight for me while I worked on a car. He did everything from cooking, cleaning, cutting, sewing. You could download all kinds of programs into them, and he would learn, and he got smarter, and she was always teaching him because she was smart, and she believed in teaching, kind of like her parents.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was her 16th birthday that I gave her that robot, and she it was the first time she called me dad.
And I'm sorry, I know this is a sensitive subject, but how did you know that that robot was the one that killed your daughter?
Later, as you guys know, the apocalypse happened, and I unfortunately I was called in to help, and she went to shelter at our safe house. But she brought you here with her. At that point, the robot was to her like
Best
family.
friend. Best friend, yeah.
Yeah, and so she wouldn't go without him. And then when the programming kicked in and took over, the AI, they were the only two in the safe house, our safe house, and yeah, they found that robot covered in my little girl's blood.
This is a tough one, team.
How long was it between her 16th birthday, when she was gifted here, and the conclusion?
It was 5 years after her 16th birthday that the apocalypse took place. And I got called in early because there were those initial defense issues, and I told her to take shelter. She was 21.
I think we should use an anomaly here. You said it was about 5 years difference between when she got the robot and when she was killed.
Yes.
So she was about 21 when she died,
Yes.
and that was like right before the apocalypse started, right?
That was the day
In the
that it
midst of
happened.
everything, yeah.
The
That's
day it
when-
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I-
that was
It was a wildfire.
All right,
yeah.
cool.
It was
Just making
much
sure.
after
If I'll
the
toss out an anomaly.
Sweet.
You mentioned that she was alone. I'm going to say there. I'm going to rechange that to say that she wasn't alone, and it was a community
I don't think we
shelter.
can change that one
Can we
because
not?
that's not the memory we're in.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
We can only change the birthday party,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I have an idea on how to fix this, but I want to use some anomalies first. I just don't know where to use them.
How do the updates work on these robots?
Initially they were sent out over Wi-Fi automatic updates that would come in. You could also choose to download specific learning kits like cooking and different languages that the AI could learn. And yeah, she spent probably all of her allowances on them.
Learning kits. That could be something.
Yeah, when we got the robot, he came with the basic kit where he was trained to help with house chores and basic needs, and given a name and the ability to speak English. It was a basic standard kit because it was all I could afford at the time.
Question: were these humanoid robots?
Yes, these were the My Buddy robots were shaped like human, and they came in various sizes, and their size could be adjusted.
Yeah, to
Mm.
make
I
it
wa-
more
I wa-
acceptable to us.
The ones with the cleft chin.
I want to use an anomaly to make it slightly less humanoid and say that the robots weren't quite to the point where they could balance on two legs perfectly. So maybe they had a tail or four legs. I'll leave it to you since it's your memory, but one of those two.
I I'd like to use anomaly as well.
All right.
Um, I'd like there to be a custom a mod where you can have a custom patch kit, like the way like an Arduino set or something, where you can program your own adjustments to your robot. So we can do custom programming. Maybe we can.
Well, that was already included in the learning kits.
Yeah, he mentioned something about that.
Yeah, you could teach it different things, but it came with its own downloads and learning kits. I don't know too much about the software. She was the genius.
But what if we reverse engineer it? You said software updates come in. Maybe we can. What if we had
Break it.
a pack
Good.
and have it send out an update to the rest of them?
I think that's a good idea. What if
Where they
we make
don't
it?
harm other humans.
I was thinking the opposite, actually. What if, 5 years later, after everyone had these things, is when it happened? It was too late. What if we trigger the robot uprising 5 years too early, back when we could have fought it back,
Hmm.
but, triggered it before the machine waited and bided its time,
So
The only
killing
issue
all
is we don't know what caused the apocalypse.
Yeah.
So we
that's-
wouldn't know how to cause it early.
I
Well, let's
My-
say this. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
you should continue that thought before I
Okay.
change.
What we should do is, at the birthday party where you gift the robot, we use some probability magic because we know these things are gonna go on attack mode in 5 years. Why not change the probability on this one little robot going berserk so it happens much earlier, and maybe it'll go out to the rest, or be very public robot attack at a young girl's birthday party where everyone has video camera phones and stuff. That might hurt the apocalypse in a way we don't understand.
And I would be there to defend her.
Exactly. I wouldn't want to put her in danger, but you would be there to stop her, and you would know 5 years early that this thing is not to be trusted.
And
Mm.
she wouldn't trust it likely after that too, and wouldn't make all those genius updates she did to it, in case that had any effect.
Mm.
Nathaniel, did you have an idea?
Well, slightly different from this one, and I'm still open to discussing this. My idea was maybe implement some sort of end of life failsafe for the robots, like many technologies have, where they don't want you sticking to one model for too long, because they want you to spend more to upgrade and buy the next one.
Hmm.
So just to implement something to ensure that this robot here would break down pre
Like
5
slow
years
down
from now.
the memories flows.
Yeah, that
Well-
that wouldn't solve necessarily a larger issue unless that was some like software update we could sneak into everyone, but
Hmm. Planned obsolescence.
Mhm.
It's a thought to go off in
Think-
5 years.
I think I'm
Starting with
partial
the
to the
update
first
patch.
idea,
Mhm.
especially because Drake could protect her before things got real bad.
Do you think that's something you can pull off, probability man? Make that robot go off early?
I will do my best.
What? How are you gonna do this?
Mm. Well, I figured we alter the code so that the digits for the time that it goes off happens sooner. Essentially, switch out the digits in the year.
And I've got a copy of a killer drone operating system right here.
Perfect.
There are a dime a dozen around here. They're always trying to kill us.
Was there any way that I could give my younger self a little bit of warning just to minimize the risk to my daughter? Okay.
I'm sorry. And I rolled it as plus the one. It's a 2.
Oh,
What was
Sorry.
your adjective?
what was your adjective? Yeah.
Oh, I think just programmed. So how did it go haywire? Or how did it fail?
Well, on the plus side, you wanted it to attack, and I guess now it didn't attack. So Yahir does not attack Genie at the birthday party. But I guess as a negative, it maybe.
if I can jump in, you introduced that code to it that wasn't available until an early software update, and so now it knows the plan and decided that now is not the good time, but it has the kill orders a little bit earlier and is buying its time.
Oh no.
Mhm.
Mm.
All right. What?
So
What
all
if
we
we give her a better present? I don't know. But what if she just takes it here and like turns them off because she gets bored with it because this other present's so good?
I couldn't get her anything else that year. It was just the robot. They were very expensive.
16-year-old girl.
It's the only thing she
Did
wanted.
Jeannie have a boyfriend?
No, she wasn't too much into boys, and
Anomaly. She's a 16-year-old girl. She has a boyfriend.
You just didn't know about it.
Yeah.
I've got it. I've got an idea.
Well, do I know about it or do I not know about it since it's your anomaly and you're trying to affect the birthday? Was he there at the birthday
Yes.
party?
She
Okay.
she introduced him to you at the birthday party.
So I didn't really approve of the young man. He had a silly little nickname. Everybody called him Momo, and I didn't really understand, kids, and their silly names. But he was a
Punk.
he was a punk.
I do it.
He was a punk, and I didn't really care for him too much.
I have a question, and I think I know the answer, but I need to make sure. I assume you weren't fond of displays of affection in your presence between the two of them.
I mean, he would probably have been as dumb as he was. He wasn't dumb enough to do that in front of me.
Excellent. I think we should change that. That's how we fix this. So I assume at a certain point in the party, while, Wizard Dad had his back turned, they shared a kiss. Who wouldn't do that? What if we make it so that he happens to be turning around and sees them kiss, he gets clumsy and spills soda onto the robot, killing the robot,
What
you know.
what does that solve long term though?
Also, that you couldn't kill one with just soda.
Yeah.
They were made for cleaning houses.
I think, hear me out, y'all. I was a 16-year-old girl once, and I was in love once, a couple times in my life. But like, when I love my parents, but when I got a present from my lover, even especially when I was younger,
Lover's a strong
I-
word, but okay.
I treasured those presents, and they were so special. And no offense to my parents, no offense to you, Drake, but sometimes I held on to those presents a little longer, and I cherished them a little bit better. So what if Momo got her a very meaningful present, in a way that her attention was directed towards that present and less to Yahir?
I mean,
Long term wise, what does that solve?
yeah,
Because we
doesn't.
introduced, we fucked up and introduced this danger code to here, and she put all that time and effort into this robot. We don't know if all of the extra work with her intelligence on the robot affected anything. Maybe
Well,
a year helped trigger things.
I have a different theory. My theory is that she was a genius that could have stopped what was happening that day if she hadn't had the robot with her. So I feel like, she didn't make the apocalypse happen. I think she was too young to have done that. But she was one of the people who could have saved it. But because, one of the evil robots was in her room when it happened, she didn't have time to react.
I
So
mean,
with
I
my
didn't really.
solution, I figured we could get rid of the robot. Oh, and I wanted to use an anomaly to say that when you open it out of its packaging, it has a setting where like it opens up and it's like, look at all my insides, aren't I cool? A moment of vulnerability.
But that's just the one robot.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
I'm aware,
doesn't
but
solve any.
it's the robot that's going to kill a genius that could save the world. That's my theory.
I mean,
So-
she
By that
died.
point, it would be
This-
too late. I
Yeah.
think. I
But
think
my-
we're looking at this the wrong way because this should be something about saying like the corporation that mass produced and creates these robots. At some point, either they willfully or unintentionally allow a flaw in here that allows
Caused
them
it.
to turn on its owners and separating one girl from one robot.
Well,
What does that solve in the grand scheme of things?
we did
Unless we just caused it.
we did try. The first try was to, make a public incident, just like you said, but that
Hmm.
didn't work. Time works in mysterious ways. So my thought is, if the time stream didn't react well to us doing that, that must not have been it. So the next most likely thing in my head is that this girl, being too young to have caused the apocalypse, must have that case, been someone who could have solved it. So
It seems like the apocalypse happened before she was
Yeah.
killed, though. So
The
the
problem
day
there
she was
is
killed was the day of the apocalypse, right?
yes. So it happened as an effect of the apocalypse happening. Her robot you hear killed her.
So my
Um,
thought is that if that robot hadn't been there to kill her, she, being a robot genius, would have recognized the singularity happening around her and must have had a plan for that somehow that she could have gotten to if she hadn't been killed immediately.
I mean, I'm kind of with you, but I think my idea also would help with that because she would care less about the robot, so she might not be with it 5 years later.
Hmm.
Or
I know
maybe-
it seems silly,
this doesn't prevent the apocalypse, though. This
I
we're not looking for a solution after the fact. We're looking for a solution before.
Well, look at it this way: there's so many events that happened that could have been like the Cuban Missile Crisis was just another day. Could have been the day of days. In this scenario, a bunch of
We're here
robots
for a
started killing
reason.
people, but it got stopped in time. You know?
Yeah, we're here for a reason. So the reason either is, from my understanding, it's either you're here and what we just did to that robot triggered things in other robots, or Jeannie, if she would have lived, might have had something with her big brain to stop what happened. Like there's a reason why this memory was called out.
And I like your idea, and I know it seems silly. The only reason I don't like it is because the present and that whole day got her to call him dad. If her boyfriend got her the best present, maybe that doesn't happen, and that seems sad. Right?
Well, he can give her the present before the boyfriend because the present happened. He gave her the present.
All right, you have to time it right then. I think we should try yours then.
Ox or whatever. What are you gonna say? Look like you're gonna say something. Octorus.
Oh, I keep hearing that name over and over in my head. This Momo. Did he like sports?
No, he wasn't too into sports. He was into animes and video games.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, not a baseball player like your kid.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
16 is very impressionable age.
My young Montreso Mondrian. Yes. Just had to ask.
Yeah, if there was a nice enough gift, maybe he was there with her in the safe house versus being alone.
Or maybe she never got that close to the robot. Is where I was trying to lead.
Or heck, it could be as simple as he thought it was creepy and would say it all the time, and that rubbed off on her. But who knows? We're not here to figure that out. We're just here to try and fix it.
Nathaniel, what are your thoughts?
I'm not seeing the bigger picture on this, but if other people want to give it a try,
I mean, if y'all save my little girl, that's
good
what,
enough.
That's what I came here for.
Let's aim to do that then.
Yeah.
So we have a plan A and plan B. Plan A, we're gonna try, using your magic to, get the boyfriend to make a bigger impression that day.
Mm-hmm.
If that doesn't work, then we can try the mind go with the robot.
Yeah.
Very well.
All right. Whew. Trying to think of the perfect present. What was your daughter into other than robots at the time?
Jeannie was a smart girl. She was really into technology and science, and she wanted to be like her parents who passed away and helped the world with science. So that's why she wanted the robot so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So anything technology wise, but she did draw now and again, but she was primarily into learning.
All right. So Momo, knowing that she loved her artistic side and he loved that about her, I'm trying to think. Okay, I need some help, mages. I'm trying to figure out a way that Momo can give her a course or
How about this? Okay, so real quick question. Where did y'all live at the time?
We had moved out of the city where her parents had passed, so we were still kind of in upstate New York.
Excellent. how about a trip to Cape Canaveral?
Oh, I have an idea different
You
than
know,
that.
if she liked technology, she might have been steered towards, rockets instead of robotics.
I had an idea different than that.
What's your
Okay.
idea, Misty?
Mama was a punk, he said, and I imagine he had his finger on the pulse of the music scene in the city itself.
Yeah,
So
he was a skater boy.
yeah.
Oh no,
So
don't say it.
so knowing that he knew the music scene, um, I might want to introduce another anomaly here in that he would play at this one art gallery uh, with some of his friends, and the art gallery had an opening. He was friends with the owner of the art gallery, and so for her 16th birthday, he got her a show, display her drawings at the art gallery. If we're going
Yes.
anomaly,
Is that the gift that you're gonna try to make happen, or
well,
is that an anomaly?
the anomaly is he's friends with the art gallery owner. He's friends with an art gallery owner in the big city.
Got it.
And the thing I want to affect is him. I want to try some mind magic and make him be thoughtful and realize that this is the most meaningful gift he could give her for her birthday, with a long note on how much he appreciates her and her creative spark.
Well, I'm gonna shake my fist the whole time, but you could do what you gotta do.
All right, team. Sorry, I left my accent. My adjective is gonna be thoughtful. And I'm gonna roll and wish for the best with this. It's a 3 total. So it doesn't add an anomaly, but something didn't work.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That boy he wasn't right.
He had a well-intentioned gift, but fumbled on the delivery, perhaps.
He must have said, "You're a great artist for a girl," which is a terrible thing to say.
All right.
So I think
So
I'm
we're
up.
still trying to solve.
Where'd my die go? Oh, there it is.
What's your plan again, Potions Junior?
So my plan specifically is I'm going to, this is a very simple potion I need to make. So I just need this, it's a waterproof robot. So I just need a liquid that can go through something non-permeable. It's like day one potion stuff. Make something do something a regular liquid can't. So I'll create a slightly corrosive, very slightly, like pineapple corrosive, uh, concoction that will also go through solid materials.
Now, I'm a pineapple guy myself, but my question is, wouldn't I have just gone and got it replaced at the factory and got it fixed? And she still would have had a robot on the day of the apocalypse?
Hmm,
Because I had a warranty.
that's a fair point.
They're expensive products.
Hmm. You know what? I hadn't considered that. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Again, I'm a pineapple guy like the next guy, but I gotta say, I'd have had a warranty, and I did.
I've got it. I'm gonna change it. So, because of our failure before, the robot has the kill order. It just recognized that it shouldn't attack in a little girl's party, right?
Mhm.
We're assuming we're making that assumption. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to operate on that assumption then.
Not try
Alright.
to attack her.
So, if it's already self-aware,
Mm.
if we make it think it's threatened, it'll go into attack mode.
I can add on to that if you'd like.
Please do, because I don't know how I'm going to do that.
Okay, sure. If combining both of our failures, if Momo, in a fit of immature jealousy, attempts to lash out on the robot.
Yes, and it'll be the violence will be directed at the shitty boyfriend. That's perfect.
Yes.
I think everyone's on board with this plan.
I didn't
Judging
really
from your
much care
plan.
for the boy anyway, so
Yeah. All right, so that I can do. I will use a potion to give him directed aggression towards the robot. Maybe he picks up the knife for the birthday cake and goes to stab the robot.
so
And we'll see how that goes.
Momo attacks you here, and then you hear the robot defends himself, and this causes everybody to see that robots are dangerous.
Yes.
If things go that way, yes.
I feel like that could go two ways. One, the robot gets killed immediately, or two, they're like, whoa, robots are sentient? Maybe they should have rights. And it's like, oh, I have rights, and then now I don't have to kill them all.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Even younger me would have killed that thing immediately.
Yeah, I figured. So we'll see how that
Yep.
goes.
Well,
Could open
maybe
a
you
broader
will.
conversation.
Wish me luck. 4 + 1, right? Because it's magic.
Oh, what
Well,
Oh,
adjective?
wait, you need an adjective.
Oh,
We're bad at this.
aggressive.
I think that works.
That works,
We
yeah.
haven't used aggressive.
Or any synonyms of it, yeah. Forgot the list.
Good.
Mhm.
Very good. Glad to hear it.
That's surprising and reassuring. So that's a 5.
Yeah, so it works.
So Momo attacks the robot, and then that's
Yes.
the resolution.
Yeah, we'll hear the summation of it later.
Mhm.
That's a promising direction.
All right. Now we are in our last memory,
Mm.
and that's mine.
Mm.
How many anomalies do we have banked up?
Oh, let me double check.
I think
Uh,
2 left because we used 3 for that one.
We have
Yeah.
one left, and that one we ended that one with 1 anomaly left. We did pretty good, and now we have 2 starting
Yeah.
this
Was
next
shit
one.
the real cult?
Mhm. Let's burn them.
All right. Oh, y'all gonna mess me up. All right. You arrive, and it is a crisp autumn day. You're in a very remote area. There's beautiful trees all around. The leaves are bright orange and yellows and browns. The wind's blowing through. You hear the wind. And you see a little log cabin. And inside the cabin, you hear the crackling of the fireplace inside the cabin. But you see Shannara on the porch of this cabin, bundled up in a sweater, holding a mug in her hands, and just sipping some hot cocoa. Leaves are falling all around. From the inside of the cabin, where this tall, slender, blonde woman walks out. And behind her comes 2 large golden retrievers to run outside. She walks out and takes a seat next to Shannara on the porch. And it's just a moment of quiet. All you hear is the wind, the crackling from the fire inside, the dogs sniffing around in the leaves, and the natural sounds of fall in the forest. And that's it. It is peaceful, quiet, serene. Shannara and her wife share a look where they just smile at each other, a very soft smile in silence, sharing that moment together.
um, and this memory is a memory of.
We were on the run. So we were in a remote cabin in the middle of the mountains. We had escaped the city together. Well, we escaped our suburb that we were temporarily living in together when they started mandating that everyone get the implant in their brains. We were not about it. We'd seen all the negative effects of this implant happen, and we didn't want whatever was to come next. Everything had already started going a little off, and so we just wanted to live our lives with our dogs and be happy together without anyone else telling us what to do. So we ran. We found this cabin in the middle of the mountains, and we were just enjoying the time that we had, and we're thankful for the moments we've had together.
So between that memory and the present where you were with us working on the solution, what happened to stop you from running with her and your dogs?
They found us.
Who,
We
who
were
found?
woken. The police. We were woken one night with a start. Our dogs were barking. We made sure we had no technology in the cabin. We didn't want anything to be traced, but I don't know how they found us. But our dogs started barking outside, and she told me to run. That she would hold them. She told me to run out the back door, and I did.
Hmm.
But that was
With
that was
their
about 3 months past this memory.
with their chips in your dogs?
No, or not. We'd gotten them from a farm that also had the same beliefs as us, so I believe that they were unchipped.
What stood out about this memory of this day as opposed to the day previous or the day after it?
It was, I think, we started getting scared after that. Like this moment, it was thinking back that the last happy moment I have. After that, we'd found our dogs found a dead bird in our yard, in the yard of the cabin. The next day, we were, I mean, everything was spooking us then. So we're like, I don't know, is this a sign? And then we would hear things in the night. We just knew that the peace wouldn't last. But at that moment on this day, we hadn't been that scared yet. We felt like we were still safe.
What did your partner do?
Her name was Starshine.
What did she do for living?
I mean, she made music, but we didn't really get to make much music on the run. You know, we just tried to live off the land.
Did anybody know y'all were there?
No.
I'm just trying to understand what this had to do to lead to the apocalypse.
Yeah, anything strange happen? Anything in the forest that there shouldn't have been?
Well, after that first dead bird, there was a lot more. And there were weird sounds. We tried to not stray too far from the cabin because we obviously didn't want to be seen. We were running away.
Do you come across anyone else hiding?
There was this one man, Gerald. When we were hiking to the cabin initially, we stumbled upon him. He had some crazy ideas, but he was friendly. He didn't seem he seemed pretty harmless.
Mm.
He'd been living off the land even longer than we had. He gave us some good tips.
Would it? Hmm.
Did he live close by?
Oh, he was a traveler. He didn't. We didn't ask at that time. It wasn't really good to ask.
Mm.
I'm gonna add an anomaly and say that you did know what he did in his backstory, because you guys talked over tea, hippie tea.
Okay.
But how was hippie tea different than regular tea?
Son, if you don't know, I can't explain it to you.
I'll find out later.
All right. Are you gonna tell me what you're all did, or do I have to make that?
Oh, I would say he was maybe on the run from the government as well, but he was a former informant of the government,
Mm.
and worked directly for them.
Yeah, Gerald. He he was a little kicky, but he said he used to help the government, but then something clicked in his brain, and he was like, "This isn't the way." And I mean, we're all accepting, or all kinds. My wife and I. So we talked to him a little bit, and he actually gave us some tips as to how we could stay a little bit quieter and less noticeable, like when we should when we should burn our fireplace so the smoke doesn't rise. When we should be sure to stay indoors and not have on any candles, things like that.
And your wife was a musician. I'm trying to think if her arrest led to anything that would have led to the apocalypse. Or maybe something happened with Gerald that led to the apocalypse. We were brought here for a reason. I'm trying to understand what it has to do with the apocalypse. Not that
Gotta
it's
be
not
something.
sad and, obviously fuck the police, but I think there's something else going on here that we're missing, that connects this to the apocalypse.
How did you find out about this cabin?
Oh, well, we stumbled upon it on a hike. We had known through other runaway circles that we found in the city when we first started to make our escape, that the mountains, because it's so unpredictable terrain, there there were things you could stumble upon, like ancient relics and stuff, that it was a bit safer because a lot of the military's equipment couldn't make it up the mountains. But we could, we were pretty athletic. But
Did y'all find anything up in the mountains that you kept, or was there anything in the cabin that seemed odd or suspicious to you?
the cabin had uh it had all full furniture. It seemed almost as if somebody had been living in it. We actually didn't move in initially. Like when we first found it, we're like, oh, somebody is already squatting here. We should wait and just scope it out. So we camped nearby, but nobody ever came back to it. But it seemed almost as if somebody had just been there right before we got there.
Just been there.
Was there any magical things about the house, wards, artifacts? Any old looking pieces that may have been primal magic?
Nothing that I noticed. And Shannara, or I'm sorry, uh, Starshine, she wasn't gifted. And she had once told me that it made her feel a little weird when I used my magic. Um, so I tried not to use it.
You mentioned your dogs found a bird. Was there anything, a dead bird? Was there anything peculiar about that?
It seemed like it just died mid-flight. Like I know a little bit about nature through my magic, but I couldn't find the cause of death.
You said there were other things that died too?
Yeah, it started with the birds, and then afterwards there was some squirrels, um, some local wildlife, some pigs, a peacock.
And that was deeper in the forest?
No, they were in the area that we would go around to hunt or to. Well, I didn't eat the meat, but
Did
Starshine
did either of y'all feel weird?
did. I don't remember. I just remember feeling real scared. I don't remember feeling anything weird. Sometimes we didn't pick the right berries, and we would feel a little funky. But
Hmm. Do we have any anomalies left?
we have
One.
yes, we have one anomaly.
Um. Yeah, I think I'd like to use it. I'm going to say that one of the trees you came across um, wasn't actually a tree, and it connected to something deeper underground.
The surveillance tree.
Or like how we hide cell phone towers as
Mm-hmm.
trees?
Mm-hmm. And everything around that tree seems a little more sick.
Yeah. When we would go a little bit east from our cabin, um, we found this area that just seemed like the plants didn't want to work anymore. And one day I snuck off when Starshine wasn't around and tried to use some of my nature magic to make to bring some life to that area again, and that didn't even work.
So we still haven't figured out what this has to do with the apocalypse. But I'm thinking maybe if we made it to where y'all kept moving instead of staying still at this suspicious and convenient cabin, then perhaps you wouldn't have gotten caught. Um, but again, to Nathaniel's point, I don't know how that helps the big picture of preventing the apocalypse if you didn't get caught and she was just a musician.
There was that informant. Maybe they have connections.
I could kill him.
Do you think he's still working with the
Well, possible
government?
theory, he got pinched and then he was like trying to trade information to save his skin because he was an informant. Ratted out our girls, and that's how they ended up getting caught. But, out in the woods, accidents happen.
Things had already started going south in the cities at this point.
So robots had already started killing
Things
people.
had gotten weird. Yeah. It wasn't straight up killing, but those of us who knew could see the signs. We could see that the people who got the implants weren't acting right.
Hmm.
Sorry, I'm blanking
Well,
here.
Why do you think it affected the animals but not you guys?
I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Well, we didn't go close to after I tried to mess with my magic on that area near that tree. We tried to not harvest anything from that area.
yeah, the only thing that seems apocalypsy to me, I know you feel a certain way about the implants, but some of us got them and we're been fine. Um, uh, but I think the informant is probably, if your wife wasn't, no offense, anything special in terms of the apocalypse, perhaps this informant guy was someone they were after that helped lead to making things worse.
He was
So,
still out there.
yeah. Do you know where he was this day of your memory? Do you know where he was about?
He liked to camp around the river that was a little bit to the west. There was like this beautiful little creek. So we would run into him down there every now and then.
I mean, because I could track a man 50 miles. I could find him. What do y'all think? Junior, probability man, Nate?
It'll help, but there's got to be a
I think it's
bigger.
two parts. We figure out a way to encourage the girls to leave sooner than later, and we also we get rid of the only thing that seems close to the apocalypse. So if
Honestly,
I blow,
I don't. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
if I make his death loud, maybe that spooks the girls into leaving.
Out of all the deaths that we've suggested, that one doesn't seem too crazy to me. I say we go for it.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Um, so I could take him out with non-magical means. I could simply walk over and toss an explosive at him. It would be loud enough that the girls may need to investigate. And I do have access to military grade explosives.
Probably start a forest fire at that rate, which also would be cause to leave.
Yeah, it could also cause the that suspicious tree to get damaged. Yeah, I could do a firebomb. When in doubt, fireball out.
Explosive is the keyword.
I think we already used explosive.
Did we?
No.
We did not.
Surprisingly,
Well,
actually.
Right.
Better adjective?
I would like to non-magically blow him up. And if this doesn't work, I can kill him with magic. I could make lightning rain down on him pretty hard and pretty loud and pretty explosive. So do you guys want me to do non-magical, or since this is our last hurrah, go for magical?
This one seems pretty non-magical, unless we can find something interesting, right?
You could use a flame spell.
Yeah, as long as there's no concern that it'll go unnoticed.
I mean, I kill people all sorts of ways. I can make it discreet. I can make it loud.
Let's go loud.
All right. So non-magical explosion. This will be a firebomb explosive. That'll have concussive built into it, so it makes a nice loud pop. So y'all might want to cover your ears. That's a 3 with no +1 on the bomb.
So no anomaly added. But so on a 3 or 4, any player says why it didn't work.
The bomb that you threw, maybe had a small malfunction, and there was a delay to it, enough so that this man was able to recognize a threat to his life, and was able to get up and run far enough out of the blast radius that when it did go off a few seconds later, he was safe from it. And now he is fleeing for his life.
So the bomb still went off. Does it cause a fire?
Yes.
'Cause
Sure. Yeah.
All right, so he's on the run. I could hit him with a lightning bolt. It worked for Zeus.
I think that's a good call.
So this will be magical. Probability man or Nate, y'all want to assist with hitting him, maybe slowing him down as he's running, or probability of him being struck by lightning increased?
Trip on a branch.
All right, so I'll,
Very well.
through a combination of our magics, we are going to
What's
smite
the
him.
adjective?
Smite.
Smite is a verb. Give me
Um, smitten.
Dude, are you shocking? I think we did. I can't remember.
Divinity. Shocking.
Electrifying.
Palpitative.
Heart.
Arresting.
I really
I'm
like deleted it.
That's my favorite one.
No, that's not a word.
All right.
We already used conductive.
Say charred?
Yeah, I did.
Sniped.
Conductive. Sniped.
It has to do with accuracy of the lightning bolt. And I assume I'm going to have to take to the air to shoot at him with lightning.
Mhm.
Is that all right with you, Missy?
As the ruler of the adjectives, I can't tell you if it's going to be a synonym or not. New rule that I
Okay.
just made up. So until after you decide that you're using it.
All right,
Snipe?
we're using sniped.
I don't think that's a synonym of anything we've used so far. So okay.
All right, so this is +1 act of
Actually,
God.
it might be, but we'll talk about it after you see what happens.
4 + 1 is a 5.
5. Oh yay.
Strike
Okay.
him down.
Murder, yay!
All right.
As the good Lord intended.
Sniped and precise, are they synonyms? I think they might be.
Sniped and precise,
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
It's
It's got to be.
Son of a biscuit.
Me damn it.
So did we use two? We used 2 anomalies in that scenario, right? One was Gerald existed, and one was the tree. So okay, so we ended with 1 unused.
Just the last roll. Oof.
So the last thing we know is you smote Gerald. The
He's been
informant.
smitten.
Yeah.
Deleted it.
Deleted it. Very
And
well.
now-
You deleted it.
Now we're back to the resolution, if I'm correct. All right. I'm going to read from the game. So once all of your memories have been resolved, you have saved the day, and it's time to return to your timeline to enjoy saving the world. Resolution. The last step is resolution. So apparently we've been successful according to that previous paragraph. It seems like we have stopped the apocalypse, but now how do we feel as individual mages? For each of your memories, roll a number of dice equal to the number of anomalies generated during that memory plus the number of unspent anomalies, which is B1. Use the lowest die to determine the results. And then describe exactly what happened in this new timeline and your character's reaction to it.
All right, so we just go memory by memory, and then each of us rolls for our own memories.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well,
So the first.
So
coming of
yeah, I
age.
guess mine was the first memory.
Yep.
When I was a child with coming of age ceremony.
They
It's
gave
I
you
have
magical puberty.
yes, prematurely.
We didn't generate any. We didn't generate any extra anomalies, so you just had.
Well, I'm saying that we spent because every one by default generated one anomaly, and like
Yeah.
we used so
Yeah.
I'm rolling 2 dice.
Yep.
For this, yes.
Pretty good.
So gonna take the lowest one.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
good. I could take the highest one and it would still be bad. So
Oh.
that's not good. I don't know if you understand what good means.
What's anti-good?
yeah, so that is a 1.
This memory went the exact opposite in this timeline. Describe how this twisted memory makes you feel the opposite emotion.
Yeah, so originally, I guess to recap, since this was a while ago, this first memory was associated with joy about receiving magic, and it was a very important moment in my life where I felt the power of magic kind of flowing through me, and it inspired my research and my passions and understanding more about how this worked. In the process of changing this, you all kind of gave me access to this prematurely. I mentioned that there were a bunch of protesters outside that I kind of had to cross in order to get into the facilities. And because this happened now in a public place, instead of being in like a closed, secure area, I was outside. I was a young child. This intense, almost painful experience like coursed through me. And all the while, I have people around me just shouting very hateful things. And so now this birth of my magic is associated with just this sense of fear and dread because it was not a pleasing experience for me. However, the good note is that because there was no successful test, and with all of the public pressure against this, they didn't on the same timeline or on the same scale introduce this ability for people to kind of unorganically learn magic, which was a stepping stone towards like governments controlling people and having more autonomy over people's bodies as opposed to the individuals.
So I'd like to say something to you as a dad. Puberty's hard for everybody. Sorry, it was extra hard for you.
As a dad.
As a dad.
Yeah. So I think my love and appreciation for magic is no longer with me at this point.
You seem a little different, Nathaniel. I'm sorry. Next, we go to the wizarding school party. During that one, how many anomalies did we generate?
1, so that'd be 2 total.
Just one. We didn't generate any No, we did. We generated 1. So we generated 2. Like 1 at the beginning of the memory, and then 1 when I failed to unplug the plug.
Well, oh no, so I guess I was counting it as like which ones we spent, because the one that you pulled the plug spent the anomaly that was, I guess, like generated when.
I think that deals with the when we're calculating the resolution. So I'm looking at the game. So we are learning the game and trying to interpret rules to the game live.
Mm.
A so from the way I'm reading the resolution paragraph, I think because we spent it, that means we have less unspent now as
Yeah.
total that we add to everything. But it does say the number of anomalies generated during that
Mm.
memory. So everyone at least generated one, but during that one, I fucked up and unplugged the plug and I generated an extra. So even though we spent it, I think that still counts as the number generated.
So this
But,
should be 3.
Okay, so 3
so this
dice
could,
then.
yeah, this will be
Yeah.
3 dice that
Alright.
Lewis has to roll, or
Okay.
Luis has to roll.
Wait,
and
say that again.
you roll
So-
3 d6s,
Okay, thank you.
choose the lowest.
Yeah, and tell us the lowest result.
I'm just gonna name them off because I only have the one to roll at the
Mhm.
moment.
There.
A 1.
Okay.
I don't
That's
think
my
it.
first
Okay,
roll.
that's it. Oh no,
Yeah.
this is so sad. So the memory went the exact opposite in this timeline. So describe how this twisted memory makes you feel the opposite emotion when you think back to it.
Oh God, it made me feel isolated. Like I felt just a refresher. I felt accepted and hopeful and all that before, but because it was my first college party. But now, instead of having all these memories of like, feeling like I found my like-minded people, there are no memories. And in the morning, like apparently I'd alienated Johan, and I don't know. It was just another crappy day, and it took so much longer to feel accepted.
Oh, that's so sad.
Mhm.
Listen, I'm gonna say, as a dad, college is hard on all of us.
I never went to
Shut up.
college. Not everyone has to subscribe to
Oh.
the systems.
At least you could focus on your work.
True.
Yeah. Remind me again, because it's been a while. How did we tilt things in the right direction again?
Uh,
In that instance,
Celine.
Yeah.
A couple things were tried, but I think the one that was successful was causing me to black out early.
Yeah, the
we
overnight
made we added the sleep potion to the whole party, pretty much.
Yeah,
Like yeah.
we made everybody pass
Shot
out and black
contest.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shot contest.
What did that do though?
So it caused them to pass out before they could pull the prank.
Oh, right, the
On
prank.
the universal
Mhm.
constant in the MIT party.
Mhm.
All right.
Hmm.
Next is my first kiss.
Good
Where
luck.
we killed the president.
Yep.
Oh,
We went from first kiss to kill the president.
first
Um,
kill.
That was my second favorite one.
The first. I think I only have to roll 2 dice, but somebody correct me. I don't remember us generating any anomalies during that.
Nope, we're real
Not
good at
generated,
killing.
No.
No.
We spent them. Yeah.
Yeah. So
no,
2.
nothing generated.
Two
Yeah, actually all
die.
worked really well.
Oof, my lowest is a 2. Wow, we're rolling
We're-
terrible.
We're
Oh.
ruining our own lives by saving the world.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Yeah. Exact opposite. Oh.
Oh man.
We steal the declaration of independence.
So the way I remember this now is Jayla, she was my best friend, and y'all did what you did. You turned off the radio before before we could find out that the president was just died in his sleep. But when I felt the feelings I felt, and I reached out and we were dancing and I kissed her, she pushed me away. And I felt rather than love, I felt hurt. I thought it was mutual. I thought it was the same, but she said I was gross. She just It's such a painful memory for me now. And then the next day, I found out the president was killed, and everything went to shit from there.
As a dad, I gotta say, love is hard for all of us, and we take the broken path. It ultimately led to your wife. So I'm sorry you went through that and you were made to feel
Like
ostracized.
something was wrong with me. I felt like
Yeah.
something was wrong with me.
Ain't nothing wrong with you, girl.
And we're going to. I think it's you, Drake, the day you adopted your daughter.
Oh no.
They adopted my
Wow.
daughter was Pride, or it was no, that was Love. So we didn't mess up anything on that one, I don't think.
I'm
So I'm
looking.
just rolling the 2.
Yeah.
I think so.
And my rolls have been really terrible tonight, so all right.
Here we go.
What is Drake gonna say to himself?
um it's a 1.
No, why are we doing this?
I got a 1 and a
sad.
3.
This is so fucking sad.
We saved the world, but at what cost?
So you had all of this shit like downloaded to your phone, and then
So instead of feeling love for Jeannie, I was consumed with hatred for the killers of her parents. And when I tried to expose them, I was met with people who did not believe me, that it was somebody in the magical society that led to their death. And this caused me to think back on that day and not think about my daughter, but instead think about the people who took her parents away, my friends, and just instead of love, it is anger and rage at those people who did that to me and that little girl.
this is so fucking sad. Then we go to your son's baseball game.
Do we have to?
Yes.
We didn't make any anomalies there, I don't think.
I think we're 0-4 right now.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! All right.
I
so
mean,
2.
either way, we saved the fucking
Two,
world.
yeah.
We
but
saved the world,
Not
but
our own
personal
mental
memories.
health.
Yeah. Mine was joy for successfully seeing my magic through and helping my son feel better about himself. So and it was 2. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. It's a 6 and a 1.
No, why are we like this?
Oh.
So before you go
All right.
on, a refresher for the audience. His son was given the memories of Wade Boggs, a very famous
may do
baseball
so.
player who would eat an entire chicken before every game and drink like 70 beers or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So, his success was my failure. It proved to me that my methods weren't ready. So I poured myself even more into my work. I let him do his baseball thing. I even knew that I had to leave the woman I loved for the most important thing, which was my craft. And I poured myself into it, and I became the best at what I do.
all right.
Who's next?
I don't have an as a dad for that one.
Oh,
That's just sad.
That is, yeah.
all right.
As a sad.
As a sad.
The diploma, Rigel's diploma, is the next one. I think I'm looking at my notes. Did we generate an anomaly there? I think we
Yes.
did. We did, yes.
Yeah.
So 3-day. Yeah.
All right, a
Just
4.
one?
No, I'm re-rolling it because I only have
Yeah.
one on me.
Yeah.
Another 4.
Whew.
So
Here
you
we
get
go.
a 4.
Not a one, not a one.
Let's go.
3 4s in a row.
Take that man
So,
to Vegas.
4.
As a dad, I gotta say I'm proud of you.
But that's not.
4 is
Look at what
not
that
a
means.
1.
Or is this
No,
memory
but-
did not happen in
but
this
it didn't happen.
timeline.
It was erased.
So no
What?
negative effects, but it's just a neutral.
So you don't remember.
Or something got in the way. You weren't able to go to your graduation.
You don't
College was
remember
really a
graduating.
blur. Like,
Yeah. Because it
I
maybe
partied so
it
hard I don't
started-
even remember. I don't even
Yeah.
remember my graduation.
Yeah, maybe that first party
Uh,
started a horrible habit, and you just smeared your way through the rest of your schooling. Oh, that's so sad.
As a dad, I gotta say, lay off the potions.
I
I think-
agree.
So you're gonna go with you didn't remember your graduation? Because I think you could say anything else other than
Yeah,
what
yeah,
we
can
thought
I?
happened. Yeah.
W-
How did your graduation go?
Oh, so it's just inconsequential now?
Just as it
Okay,
didn't happen.
cool.
Yeah.
It's not a formative event in your memory anymore.
It was nice. I networked a bit, still keep in touch with a lot of the people from back in the day, but it's just another day. Nothing crazy happened.
Lots of
Mhm.
families around.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hot. Yeah.
Honestly, the more
Jan.
formative day was the last day of finals.
Oh, this sucks.
Got it. All right.
Yeah. We're so sad.
This one's
Mages.
I got 4 dice rolls for this one, so this is not gonna go well.
Which one is this?
This was
Wife in the hospital.
visiting the hospital with my wife. Whose
Yeah.
life was extended by just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Oh no, we're so sad. We're the saddest mages
Those are
ever.
the saddest ending.
I hate this.
We saved the
Uh,
world, but at what cost?
So
Our own mental health.
yeah, if I recall correctly, you fudged with the backup system,
Yeah.
and created a paper trail to show that this was sabotaging patient care.
Yeah.
And so the power goes out and the systems switch on to the backup. And the AI does what it has now been programmed to do. And Nathaniel does not get to the hospital on time. He does not get to recollect on some of their loving memories or say any goodbyes. He gets there too late.
Mm.
Oh no.
Oh, I just imagine those memories starting to fade in his mind as we come back to this timeline. Oh,
Oh man, this really is the darkest timeline. God.
So we
so far,
still do book
so
life.
far.
Oh,
right.
Oh,
my heart hurts.
All right. Who's
Um,
next?
My wife. It's
Another one.
the
that's-
probability wife.
Oh no.
We had the exact same idea.
I know. Did we make any anomalies here?
I wrote down no, so that'd be 2 dice, I believe.
2 dice.
Mhm.
Woo! Okay, I'll do this one.
Good.
And I guess the metal one. Here we
Oh,
go.
Cry.
It went so well. Boy, here we go. Ah! A 6
No.
and a 2.
No.
It was hope. It is no longer hope. So the cure worked for what it's worth. She died the next day, cancer free, but the damage was all was done. You know, her body was wasted away by this terrible illness, and it taught me that even if you save someone, sometimes you still lose.
God.
Damn. And then that brings us to the birthday party, doesn't it?
Yeah, we definitely generated anomalies.
Oh yeah, we did.
I know there's some feels.
So this was Pride, for having my daughter look up and call me dad for the first time.
Oh no.
Yeah. We generated
Um,
2
One, I
extra
think.
or 1 extra. I know.
I
Just
thought
Okay.
one, because
Two.
one of them was a 3, I believe.
Oh, it's neutral. Okay.
Okay.
yeah.
So
I think
3
so.
3
Yeah.
die.
Yeah, I just.
So
that sounds right.
I'll do 2 and then 1 because I've only got the 2 d6s on me.
Here we go.
That's a 6 and a 2. And
I don't think this is get worse than a 2. It doesn't like.
and a 1.
I would want to know too. Yeah. Oh.
So while we did ultimately save Jeannie's life, this and prevented the apocalypse from happening, when Momo attacked Yahir, Yahir killed Momo, and I killed the robot, but that was the last time my daughter ever called me dad.
Oh my
So
God.
because she blamed me for giving her the present that killed her boyfriend and not stopping him from dying. So she is still alive, and we stopped the apocalypse, but our relationship is strained because that moment of pride has now become my shame. That even though I didn't care for the boy, I didn't want him to die, and I felt like I should have protected him and not let the robot kill him that I bought. So that was the first and last time my daughter ever called me dad.
And
Same time
This
next
is
week.
so fucking sad.
And then we've got one more.
And we generated an anomaly during mine
Yep.
because we used a synonym.
Yep.
Yep.
So I have to roll 3, right?
Yep.
Okay, I've been rolling well, so I just know.
Yeah.
4 and a 2 and a 2.
What's the 2 do?
It's the worst timeline.
Same as 1?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my memory was initially evoking peace, the emotion of peace and safety and comfort and warmth. And we had that for a moment in that cabin. But once we heard that bomb go off, and nothing was the same again. We felt like we were not safe. We ran. We instantly ran. Our dogs, we didn't even know where they were. They were in the forest. Oh, I should be talking in my voice. Sorry. Our dogs, they had ran off when the explosion happened. I didn't even know where they went, but Starshine and I, we ran, but then since something changed. While we were running, she seemed so suspicious of me. That she left me. She ran off in a different direction. And I never even got to say goodbye. She didn't even tell me. She just looked at me with mistrust and suspicion, and I'd never been looked at like that before, especially by someone I loved. So it hurt, and that's how I ended up here.
Well, we saved the world.
But not our own personal lives. Yeah.
I mean, my
So,
daughter's alive, but she just hates me.
yeah, my wife might be alive. I don't know because she thinks I was the reason for the explosion
Yeah, she didn't end up in jail
or implanted.
or implanted.
Mm.
Just remember it was all for the greater good.
It
Green
does.
for
For
green.
the greater
Greater
good.
good.
We all sacrificed.
All right, let's never go back in time again.
Yeah, screw that.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Yeah, that's Mage Against the Machine. That was incredibly depressing.
So one side note, I think because we were adding anomalies for every one, we kind of screwed ourselves over because some of those would have just been one dice,
Yep.
and we would have been
Well,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So I think when we edited that rule, we kind of messed ourselves up by making it harder on ourselves.
Mhm.
So for people who are going to play this game at home, don't add that rule.
Yeah,
Don't-
it's
yeah.
a little ambiguous. So that's one. So I do want to like just talk about the game in general. It was super cool idea, and I loved so much about it. But there was like a little bit of confusion on how anomalies were added.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also think to that point, like we kind of got unlucky where we added an anomaly on the last roll because we had known that like, oh, any unspent anomalies get added to every single roll. And so we were like making sure and counting out the last 2 or 3 events, being like, okay, how many anomalies do we have? Because we need to spend every single one.
Yeah.
But then one got added right at the last roll, and it's kind of like, okay, maybe that's just bad luck on our part, and it's like a variance of the game. But if we didn't get that last anomaly, like every single roll in our events would have been decreased by 1, and that would have made the chance of positive events happening so much more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to try again.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really cool concept.
Yeah.
I was good until the end.
Yeah, that was
That was cool. I like that. It's interesting because I like that 20 question style thing, but it's also tricky. Like with questions, you can like you almost have to do like leading questions, versus because if you just ask a question and put out like a different clue, you can just get that shut down. Which is why like a lot of improv stuff they'll tell you like be careful with questions. It's like it's a misnomer to say that it's like a no thing, but it's just like if it's open ended, it puts all the power on the other person. So
yeah.
that sometimes made things a little tricky when trying to like add details, but it's a fun thing to try to have to like navigate and explore too. So definitely an intriguing part of the game.
I think to add on to that, sort of like my advice would be something that I struggled with is when we were coming up with the events, I was like worried that my events were a bit too obvious what the solution was. But then in some other events, as we were navigating it and I was trying to think of questions, I realized like I have no idea what we're here for or how we're trying to do. So I think there is, I guess, an element of like coming up with these events on our own at the start. We have to bury the lead just the right amount and like not too deep or like not too shallow. And
Yeah.
so that's something to keep in mind if you're wanting to play this on your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's currently $2 on itch.io if you do want to play it.
Yeah, and the art's really nice. So yeah, it's cool.
And we did save the world, so you
We
can
did.
win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No
that's
lose.
true.
You
And
can
can
win,
win
but
and
personally
still
lose.
in the island stuff, but you can win.
Yeah.
I think maybe another smaller thing as well, just when we organized the 10 events in chronological order, because we started at one, because we started at the one furthest in the past, like the instructions said to, any changes that we made there kind of couldn't affect anything later. So I think it might be more interesting to like do them in reverse chronological. So you start with 10 and work backwards. So that way, like, because if you start at one and like change something fundamental, that would have a ripple effect and like change events 2 through 10,
Like eating
which
a
you couldn't
sledgehammer.
account
Yeah.
for. So I think if you went from like 10 to 1 and then recapped from like 1 to 10
Mhm.
at the end, that might be pretty interesting as well.
Yeah. I've never personally played a game anything like this, so that was totally coming in blind and super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Death in the chat makes a good point about spoon feeding them the way you want things to go. Like, how did you react to the lab disaster instead of what happened at the lab, kind of thing.
Mm,
So that's a fair point.
stronger initiations, yeah, bigger offerings like that, yeah.
Any
I mean,
other?
I definitely had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like having
Very
and that
depressing
like
tab.
memento style thing is really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that we had to go and adjust how the memories like affected us, even though they all ended like we resolved the situation to prevent the apocalypse, but each of us like sacrificed, I guess.
At a personal cost.
Yeah, which I think is a big theme.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So that to me was good because I got to go and revisit the memory and kind of go, okay, well, this is how it is now.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
Although my rolls tonight were terrible.
No, so was mine. It's so
damn, yeah.
bad. Oh, I really wanted the boyfriend present to work, but
Oh.
any other thoughts, comments, things about the game before we close up for tonight and I give our outro?
It was great. It definitely hit emotionally at the end. So that's the kind of payoff you're looking for.
I would say for not having a DM for this to be a DM-less game and still come away with like an emotional effect, I think is a nod to the creators. Although there were some technical issues, I think the overall premise is good because usually a DM has to lead you down that emotional path where we kind of let ourselves down an emotional path. And so I think, and I don't have a ton of experience with DM-less games because
This
I'm
is my
usually
first, yeah.
I'm usually DMing. So this to me was like a good like, hey, you can play a DM-less game and still have a good story and an emotional effect and walk away from it feeling some type of way. I have to go tell Momo and Yahir that they both died, and I have to go tell Jeannie that she doesn't love me anymore because I based all of my people off of people in my life and my
I love
Twitch
it.
chat. So Yahir is another member of my Twitch channel, and
Oh, sweet.
Jeannie is like jokingly my Twitch daughter that I have adopted. And so that's where I came up with that. And then Momo was just in the chat. So I was just like, that's the first name I thought of for the boyfriend. And so now I gotta go tell them they're all dead and they hate me.
Mhm.
But we saved the world.
We did. All right. Before I close this out, is there anything anyone wants to plug? Jeremy, you want to go first?
Sure. You can follow me on Twitch at Jeremy TV, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. Also TikTok, which I've had a few successful TikToks, but I'm like bad about making TikToks. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm old as a dad. I don't understand TikTok.
Clubhouse. You need a shirt.
Yeah, somebody in the chat said as a dad. I needed a dad shirt. And yeah, so follow me on Twitch. I do stream video games, and I am going to be streaming some D&D 5e pretty soon, and more details about that coming, hopefully pretty soon. But yeah, follow me on those, and I'll type in the chat so it's easy for you guys. But yeah, and thank you guys for having me, and New Age Geeks and Jem and everybody for having me.
Of course.
Woohoo!
Sam, your turn.
All right. You can find me on Instagram as Sam Gosland. It's Gosland as in dinosaur. That's like my art stuff. You can find me. I'm on TikTok as Boxbrush. I haven't posted anything yet because I'm terrified, but I'm gonna do it because I'm terrified. And I stream here and there on Twitch as well, or Facebook, or I'm going back and forth between them all. But I do like live painting streams, like my digital painting, and I do analogous acrylics as well. I also want to pitch the idea that this being called the cast of us, like casting a spell.
That's pretty
Good.
good.
Yeah.
It made everybody cry, so it worked.
Damn right. Yeah. And then that's the thing I was gonna check is I have so I'm taking I'm in the Second City Conservatory program right now, and my class shows on the 25th. Yeah, on the 25th. So I'll post up that maybe it's all being done through Zoom, so I'll post up the invite.
The link. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely
So
put
it's
the
just,
invite
like a
in our
30-minute improv
Discord.
show. So
Put the invite in our Discord. We would love to
okay.
join.
Yeah, I will.
And then Nick and Louie, I know you both didn't want to share your social media, but just in case, anything either of you want to plug?
No plug for me, but I just want to thank New Age Geeks for letting me exist in this box. I know letting strangers on your social media channels can be maybe apprehensive about it, so I appreciate the trust.
I just want to say, like I said last time, as a dad, don't follow Nick. Don't try to find him. Don't look for him. Don't try to get at him in any kind of way. He's running from the government and the robots.
It did not happen. He's not here.
Louie, anything?
Nope, not at all. Thanks for watching.
Don't try to find Louis. Don't look for Louis. Don't look him up in a phone book if you're old enough to know what that is.
Drink more water.
Don't look for him. Unfollow Louis if you are following him.
If you found me, unfind me.
Yeah.
Unfollow him.
Destroy all documents you have his name in.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Thank you guys.
I'm just trying to say it sorry. I think that's it for us then tonight. I want to thank you all, Jeremy, Sam, Nick, Louie, for joining me on this weird adventure where we all had no idea what we were doing, but we all did it together. It was my first game that we played on this new version of Goodberry Cafe. So I just super appreciate you all being down to try this weird idea with me. I love it, and I'm so happy to have you here. I think this was so much fun. And I do want to thank everyone out there listening tonight. The chat's been hilarious. Thanks for joining us at Goodberry Cafe. I hope you've enjoyed your stay here. I hope you'll check us out, Forging Fates, which is our actual play D&D show. We're going to be back next Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Same place right here. You'll see me playing Whisper as part of our cast. And the next Goodberry Cafe will be the second Monday of March, where we're going to have a new cast of guests. We're going to play a different game. Hasn't been decided yet, but if you are at all interested in joining us at any point, definitely join our Discord. Hopefully we can link that in the chat. We have community game nights. We sometimes do open calls for games. I would love for more ideas for some indie games to check out. Anything like that. We're always chatting. It's a friendly place. You should come hang out with us. But until next week, I encourage you to follow our channel if you liked what you saw. Subscribe if you've got that. And I just really appreciate spending this time with all of you. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night.